Well, this homestand hasn't gone well for the Phillies, and this series has been so-so against the Cubs. Donnie Murphy's had a whale of a series, 3 home runs, including that one against Kyle Kendrick in Game 1. But the Phillies also found the long ball in Game 1 against Edwin Jackson. That was Darren Ruff, who went yard. So did Carlos Ruiz, just his 2nd home run of the season. And the Phillies, although it got rather tight in Game number 1, they rode that kind of offense to win the ball game. Last night, little different story. The Phillies did go yard. Dominic Brown hit one over 420 feet into the Phillies bullpen. Look out, Wall. That Wall took the brunt of it. But then Donnie Murphy slices this one down the right field line. Somehow it stays fair. It ties the ball game up at 1 as it hits the railing. Now, the Phillies did have a chance to take the lead on this particular play, but Cole Gillespie with a plus arm throws a one-hopper to the plate, and Chase Utley is tagged out by Deanna Navarro. Navarro said today that he's looked at that play over and over again, and it was as clean a baseball play as you'll see. So was this. DeFreitas to Donnie Murphy, and that breaks the 2-all tie as Murphy hits his 2nd 3-run home run of the series. And the Cubs went on to win Game 2, 5-2. So now the finale of the homestand and the finale of this 3-game set against the Cubs from Citizens Bank Park. A little Citizens Bank business person special between the Cubs and the Phillies. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. The Phillies will wrap up this homestand and then hit the road to take on the Nationals for 3. And today, they'll get their second look at Ethan Martin, who was good for a couple of innings in his first Major League outing. And then the adrenaline started to subside.
Yeah, and the Braves caught up to him, too. Major league hitters will catch up to fastballs after a while if you keep throwing them in the same spot at the same velocity. And that's basically what happened with this young guy. He did do a tremendous job early in the game against a very good hitting lineup. Spots his fastball there, got a call on it. He got McCann out the first time. There he's up with a fastball, and they swing through it. Those two guys are going to hit home runs later on that he had struck out earlier. Started to use his curveball very effectively, threw some sliders, no changeups, but here's the high fastball. Now McCann had seen him a little bit, and he hits it out. Also, Johnson comes up. That one's not real up in the zone, but up enough that he gives it a long ride to dead center field. And see, Ethan Martin, a kid who grew up in the Atlanta area, pitching against his hometown team, was very disappointed by that. But he did show swing and miss stuff, and he showed some potential.
Yeah, the Braves hitters were actually raving about him, not because they hit him the second time through, but raving about his stuff when they talked about it after the ball game. Well, everybody in Philadelphia is going to be raving about Donnie Murphy if he continues what he's done so far in this series for the Cubs, and it's kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah, it is, Tom. This guy's a journeyman player, and he's done a tremendous job in this series. You were saying earlier, hitting home runs all over the place. Kyle Kendrick threw up that slurve the other night, and he hit it out of the ballpark. A 3-run home run. That had gave the Cubs a lead at the time. Then last night he hits this one down the right field line. It looks like it's an out when he hits it. Then you figure it's going to be foul, and it hits right on the railing inside the pole for a home run. But the one that really killed him was that one that Justin DeFreitas threw. He had to throw a strike. He didn't necessarily have to throw it in that spot, and Murphy didn't have to hit it that far, but he did. And he has had a tremendous series to the point where he has jumped from the 8-hole to the 5-hole in their lineup. This is what he's done prior to this season and what he's done since he's come up here with the Chicago Cubs here at Citizens Bank Park. We saw him with the Marlins, so he said he's kind of a journeyman type of player, but he certainly is having a big series here in Philadelphia this week.
He had a pretty good year so far in AAA, and now he's trying to parlay that into success here on the big league level. It is the final day of this homestand for the Phillies, the final game of this 3-game series. Jeff Samardzija will make the start for the Cubs, his 24th of the year, and his second one against the Phillies. Ethan Martin, meanwhile, will make his second Major League start. We'll be back with the lineups and first pitch after this. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. From shutouts to walk-offs, we've been celebrating the greatest moments in Major League Baseball for over 30 years. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Toyota. Toyota's nationwide clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? By Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Let's take a look at the rest of the Cubs lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Lake, Rizzo, and Sherholtz, followed by Dottie Murphy, Wellington Castillo, who's catching today, and Starlin Castro. Darwin Barney, the second baseman, bats 8th, and batting 9th and pitching is Jeff Samardzija. And they'll face right-hander Ethan Martin, who is making his second big league start, and the first pitch of the day. Fastball, little low. Martin in his last outing went 4 1/3, allowed 8 hits, 6 strikeouts. Suffered the loss against the Atlanta Braves. He allowed a couple home runs.
One to a right-handed hitter, one to a left-handed hitter, and they were back-to-back, McCann and Johnson.
He came out like gangbusters in that game, throwing 96 miles an hour the first couple of innings.
Here's our Budweiser scouting report on him. He did not throw his changeup in that game. Rich Doobie wants him to throw a few more. They may mix him in today. 26% sliders. His problem was his fastball was elevated too much. He's come out and thrown 2 fastballs and now a curveball, and both the fastballs were down. That's what they were going to try and work with him on, to try and get a more of a downward plane on his fastball.
And he likes to work fast. You know, he's already on the mound ready to go. DeJesus has taken his time getting in the box. DeJesus 1 for 5 in this series. He's had some misadventures in center field, though. Ground ball toward first. Easy play for Franzen. 1 away here in the top of the first.
Well, it's time now for our Nissan Keys to this afternoon's game. A little overcast, humid, but not a bad day here at Citizens Bank Park. Well, Martin, he was wild in the zone the other day, and that's one thing we talked about just now. And how about, is that Dale or Donnie Murphy out there? We know it's not Greg, but that guy's not supposed to be hitting the home runs that he's been hitting.
Well, he's got 3 home runs in a couple of games. Junior Lake 3 for 9 of the series. A couple hits in last night's game. Takes a pitch on the inside corner, 0-1. That was the slider from Ethan Martin. He'll throw slider and curve, and you can tell the difference just by the slow break of that curve.
Yeah, he showed 3 pitches the other night, and they really would like him to throw a changeup more. We'll see. But right now his fastball is down more than it was at any time the other night, and that's by intention. He may not throw it with quite the same velocity that he did, but they think if he can keep the ball down a little bit better, that he'll be more effective.
And look how quick he's ready to work. You know, Lake's wandering around, and Ethan Martin just is sitting there and waiting.
Oh, guys love to play behind that.
Curveball swung on and missed. It gets away from Ruiz. Lake didn't realize it, but he's going to wind up getting to first.
Wow.
And it'll be a wild pitch, a strikeout and a wild pitch. It's a heck of a pitch, too.
Well, it's a swing and a miss pitch. It's his curveball, and that's one thing they really like about him. And obviously Carlos Ruiz calls that pitch there, and he knows he has to block it. And we'll see what happens. You see he's asking for it down, and then he boxes it. For whatever reason, he backhanded it. And especially with 2 strikes, the catcher does not want to backhand that pitch. He wants to be deadening it and keep it in front of him and get the strikeout. And just a mistake by a veteran catcher.
So 1 out, runner at first. Here's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo 1 for 6 so far in the series with a home run. Ball's popped up foul, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Rizzo did not play in last night's ball game because the lefty Cole Hamels was on the mound for the Phillies, but he did pinch hit. Good numbers, 18 home runs, 63 runs batted in.
Yeah, Murphy had cleared the bases before he came up to pinch hit and make the final out of that inning.
Yeah, how about, I mean, I thought there was a chance they were going to pinch hit for Murphy. Ground ball back to the box, knocked down by Martin. He'll look at second, throw to first. Fortunately, he had a little giddy up on that throw. And there are 2 outs.
And that's one of those ones where if he fields it, they probably have a double play, but it certainly erased the leadoff or the guy at second. If he lets it go, they definitely have a double play, because look where Martinez is, and that ball was taking him right to the bag, and he thankfully got an out of it.
A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. Nate Sherholtz 3 for 5 so far in this series, overall hitting .273 with 14 home runs, 45 runs batted in. Curveball, that's inside, 1-0. Sherrills last year played for the Phillies for part of the season. He came over in the Hunter Pence trade. Phillies let him go after the season came to a close. And to his credit, he has put together what right now is a career year, and I'm not sure if anybody saw it coming. Good guy. He's always worked hard. He's always felt like he deserved a chance against righties and lefties, and the Cubs, more out of desperation than anything, have given him that opportunity. Had a play at a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-2.
Still have a couple quality pitches in this at bat, and they can go with a 1-2 count. They can go a couple different ways with him right now, and maybe try to freeze him with a curveball again. They got the strikeout on a curveball that wasn't blocked properly. Missed his spot, but he's down a lot more right now. That one he doesn't want to be up that high, but he's not to where he was in the game Friday night. Maybe he doesn't have quite the same adrenaline rush either.
Now he definitely looks like he's calmer, you know, just in his pace and everything and his rhythm out on the mound.
Well, they want to turn him into a pitcher, not a thrower, because he has a lot of potential.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Curveball, and that's hit foul, and it remains 1-2.
And they hung that one.
Somebody on base. Martin's not as quick. In fact, he's basically the same pace as Sherrills.
Well, the signs are a little different too.
That one just missed. It's 2-2.
It looked like he threw a slider that time because it came backdoor and was harder. So 3 pitches at to this point.
Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Marlins have jumped out to a 2-0 lead over the Pirates. Giancarlo Stanton has an RBI and a run scored. Pirates still lead the division by 3. They've won 4 straight. Swing and a miss. He got him with a fastball toward the outside part of the plate in a great spot. Side is retired. No runs, no hits. 1 man left and a couple strikeouts. We'll be back for the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at their lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. It's Franzen, Ruiz, and Utley, followed by Dominic Brown, Darren Ruff, and Cody Ashe. John Mayberry bats 7th, Michael Martinez 8th, and Ethan Martin will bat 9th. And they'll face right-hander Jeff Samardzija. Marge is 6'5", 225 pounds. This guy is an athlete. There's no doubt about that. Might have even been a better football player than baseball player in college. But he decided to go the major league route instead of the National Football League. It's been okay for him.
It sure has worked out real well for him, too, financially. Got contract extension. There are the numbers on him. He is a strikeout pitcher. Has fastball and a real good split. Here's our Budweiser scouting report on him with that sinking fastball, the other pitches. Tom mentioned great athlete. Anybody who watched college football, especially Golden Domer fans, know what a tremendous wideout he was.
Ground ball foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Franzen.
He could get open.
He can get open, and he had great hands. Franzen overall hitting .259. 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in. He was not in the original starting lineup. Michael Young was. There's a dribbler to the left of the mound. Samardzija off the hill. And there's 1 out. I wonder if Franzen did something because he was really slow going up the first base line. I don't know if he slipped or what.
Yeah, he's limping too. He's been limping a lot lately anyway because he beats the ball off his feet and legs so much. There's the swing right there. Slipped a little bit. Looked like he was trying to get away from the bat or ran into the bat. And, you know, he doesn't run very well, but he'll certainly run hard. And in that case, he wasn't able to. So that's all they need.
Well, now 1 out, and Carlos Ruiz, for the first time since 2008, is batting second for the Phillies, and he takes a strike.
There was no conspiracy involved in him playing today. Michael Young came into Charlie's office and said his hamstring was a little tight, and probably would be a good idea for him not to go today. So they scratch and put Franzen in that spot, and then the next thing you hear, well, that means Michael Young's gone.
Well, there were reports that he cleared waivers, so everybody speculated that, well, maybe there's a trade in the works.
They all clear waivers around this time of the year. You know, they're all on waivers.
I don't know. Mark DeRosa was picked up by somebody, but the Blue Jays have apparently taken him back. That ball is pulled foul.
Well, let me rephrase that. They're all put on waivers this time of the year, and a lot of them clear.
That's it. I was actually surprised that DeRosa was picked up, but then I saw his contract, or he was claimed. His contract is really good.
Yeah, well, that'd be one of the reasons.
$750,000 option for next year.
Well, what a team will do, as you just said, Tom, you pull him back, and then you try to make a deal with that team to claim him.
There's a breaking ball, and Ruiz is down looking. 2 outs here in the first. Chase Utley's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Well, a little day baseball today and the triumphant return of Ask the Booth presented by Toyota. So how does it work? Well, you just follow at Phillies on Twitter and use the hashtag Ask the Booth, and you can fire off your questions. And I know Wheels and T-Mac and Sarge, you guys will all do your very best to answer all the questions that the fans have today.
That is exactly right, Murph. And
absolutely.
Way to enunciate Twitter.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
You're trying to break through your Jersey accent. Sometimes the T's aren't always pronounced.
It's a little early as well.
Twitter's and drop your G's.
And the Acme.
And the Acme up in Allendale.
That's right.
And we're headed right through Baltimore tonight as we get down to Washington.
No balls and 1 strike to Chase Utley. Utley 4 for 6 in the series with a couple RBIs. Inside 1-1. Last night Utley collided at the plate with Deanna Navarro. Navarro has a deep bruise. There's no break. There's no ligament issues, which is a good thing. Probably not available today, but is on the card for Dale Swain.
Yeah, they said he hurt his ankle more than anything. It really, excuse me, Tom, really looked like it was going to be a knee injury or possibly a broken leg or something, but they say it's his ankle as much as anything today.
And he said that he, and this is before the ball game, he said he went back and looked at that play over and over again, and he said he saw nothing that was wrong at what Chase Utley did. He said it was just 2 baseball players making a baseball play.
Yep. Kind of said that last night, which was nice to hear them confirm that afterwards, because you're not sure sometimes, you know, how teams are going to react to a play like that. But that's exactly what it was. Mick Billmeyer, we'll get into it a little bit later. I won't talk with him this morning about what, as a catcher, you try to do there. In his opinion, what may have been something that caused that injury to Navarro about dropping down a little bit too early when he had control of the baseball. And as a result, you leave yourself more vulnerable because you lose the ability as a catcher to inflict the blow, and you're sitting there where the guy can hit you and knock you backwards. And that's basically what happened on that. And Mick really, it's something you really need to show, but to talk about it with him, really explained it well today. And he's a guy that knows a lot about catching, sitting back there for so many years and teaching it.
The 2-2 pitch hit out of play toward the upper deck.
The guy they all looked up to when he was younger was Mike Scioscia as far as blocking the plate, and he explained how Scioscia would get behind the play a lot, and then he would come forward and he would just drop on top of you, and there was nowhere to slide. Samardzija really likes to use his fastball a lot. They say first time through the order with a team, and then he'll start to mix him up a little bit more. But his out pitch, he has a tremendous split. His slider's been getting hit around a little bit more this year.
Here's the 2-2 to Utley. And it's hit the opposite way, slicing and out of play. Nice catch. Bring your glove to the game.
And that's what he's doing right now in the first inning. Throw a majority of fastballs.
Time to take a look at our Mazda leaders, and Samardzija with a less than 4 earned run average with a 6-10 record. Hamels is in this list as well. Chris Sale, it's remarkable that he's only won 7 games. It's kind of the same thing they say about Cole Hamels in these parts that they say about Sale out in Chicago.
Well, that was another one of those games last night. One of those years. But the good news about Cole all the time, as you look at the tough at bat Utley's giving Samardzija here, is that he is healthy and throwing the ball great. The wins aren't there to show for it.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Chase. And he hits it back toward the middle. Castro's playing that way. So this 10-pitch at bat results in a 6-3 putout. Side is retired here in the first. Phillies go down in order. And we'll go to the second here in South Philadelphia. So far so good for both starting pitchers. Off for Chicago. Murphy, 3 home runs in this series. Overall 7 RBIs since being brought up from the minor leagues, where he hit .265 this year and had 12 home runs and 65 runs batted in.
Well, he's gone from 8 to 5 in their order.
I thought maybe they'd leave him 8 only because he was doing so well in that spot.
Yeah. Well, you see the guy that knocked in 7 runs with homers, put him up one of those RBI spots.
Popped him up. Kevin Franzen over at first. Utley's there too. Chase calls off Franzen, and that's the first out. Time now for our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. And as Murphy goes back to the dugout, we'll give you a little tidbit about him. First player to hit 3 home runs over his first 3 games with the Cubs since Jim Marshall in 1958.
Marshall wound up managing the Cubs. Here's 2 of them. This is the one last night down the right field line. I think everybody, including Cole Hamels, thought this was going to be foul. And it hits right on top of the railing. And then there's that 3-1 fastball when Justin DeFreitas needed to throw a strike with the bases loaded, right down the middle, and he didn't miss it.
Jim Marshall wound up hitting 29 home runs during his major league career. He played with 6 different teams, and he managed with 2 teams, the Cubs and the Athletics.
Yep.
1 ball, no strikes to Wellington Castillo.
Left-handed hitter.
Also played in Japan. I didn't realize he played in Japan. He might have been one of the first in 1963. Out toward right field. Darren Ruff.
He and Jim Lefebvre have had something to do with baseball in Japan quite a bit throughout their lives, baseball lives.
Still at the age of 82, he remains a senior advisor for the Arizona Diamondbacks in their Pacific Rim scouting. 2 outs. Starlin Castro, 2 for 9 in the series, will be the hitter for the Cubs. Castro overall hitting .245. Takes low, 1-0. I have to admit, I think like everybody else, I was kind of mesmerized by Ethan Martin's fastball the other day, hitting 96, the big adrenaline rush against the Braves. But he definitely looks more in command with these first couple of innings. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, well, Rich Doobie was telling us before the game that what they've tried to do is they want to get him down in the zone with his fastball. And the high fastballs the other day, they look terrific when guys swing and miss, and they sound like they pop. And all. This is me talking now, not Dubes. But they also get hit in this league eventually once they catch up to the velocity of it. And that's what happened to him the other night. If you notice today, his ball's down a lot better. And that was the idea that they discussed and want to work with him more. They don't know what they have right now, except that they know they have a talent.
2-1 pitch to Castro. Slider for a strike, 2-2.
And by that I mean whether he's a starter or a reliever. Change in uniforms isn't hurting either as far as his adrenaline rush goes. Seeing those Braves there the other night really had it pumped up.
Oh, that's true. He did grow up a Braves fan. Fastball swung on and missed. That one was at 95 up in the zone. So he has 3 strikeouts through the first couple of innings. He sets the Cubs down in order here in the second. And he's retired 5 consecutive hitters since the strikeout wild pitch to Junior League. against the Patriots. Get the latest on their final adjustments, plus a look ahead to the weekend series with Bryce Harper and the Nats. All that and more on the next Philly Sports Talk, presented by Classic Nissan, later on at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet. Dominic Brown leads it off for the Phils. Brown 2 hits so far in this series. Oh boy. That'll wake you up.
Yeah, well, that's reading the reports that this guy wants to throw a lot of fastballs first time around the count early, or first time around the order early in the count. So go look for one. He just got a little bit quick.
Overall 25 home runs, 72 runs batted in. Ground ball right side. Yeah, there's one away. Samardzija has been a much better pitcher on the road compared to Wrigley Field this year. 2.72 on the road, and his last handful of starts in both places have really accentuated that point for one reason or another. I mean, there are days where Wrigley Field is a hitter's ballpark, there's no question. There's also days where it's a pitcher's ballpark too.
They don't play big or small. It all depends when you go there and you look at the flags.
This is his 8th appearance overall against the Phils during his career. Only one start prior to this one. It was back on August 12, 2009. The Phillies used an 8-run 4th inning to basically send Samardzija to the showers. He went 3 1/3, allowed 8 hits and 7 runs. Allowed a home run to Shane Victorino in that game. And it was a game that was pitched by Pedro Martinez.
Wow.
Outside, 1-2. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Diane Henney of Reading, Pennsylvania. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Diane will win $100.
Warm day, no BP before the game, but the ball you would think would carry today. Not much wind. It's muggy.
Folks are using the Chase Utley Pride of the Philly Prince to fan themselves in the stands. All fans coming to the ballpark today receive that. It's a good crowd today too. Got a lot of camps up in the upper level as the summer, I know nobody wants to hear this, is winding down, and school is going to be back in session in the next several weeks.
If you're in August, it's winding down. Another
3-2
deep
pitch.
Yeah, another deep count for Ruff.
There's the first hit of the day for the Phillies. Darren Ruff, whose streak of reaching base safely ended last night. He starts another streak here this afternoon.
It really looked like he was going to get on last night too, because he had a 3-0 count last time up, then wound up striking out on a sinker that stroked through him that just disappeared, struck out on him. But there he was again, 3-2.
Cody Ashley has 2 hits in the series. He pinch hit in yesterday's ball game. And he lines one to left field. Lake is right at him, and it's over his head, off his glove. Ruff on his way to third, and he'll get there, and Ashley gets to second. Sometimes those balls that are hit right at a fielder can be deceptive. That one seemed to be deceptive for Junior Lake because Ashley hit it hard.
Yeah, it really fooled him, and he's looking up at it. He just misplays this. It's a left-handed hitter who's going to slice it towards the line, and watch what he does. Here you go. And he does not turn immediately, and by the time he turns, it was hit so hard that it's over his head. Still, they scored.
Well, they have put a hit up on the board, so we'll assume it's a double for Ashley. But now Mayberry can give the Phils a lead here in the second. With 1 out, a fly ball could score Ruff from third. Infield is back. With the exception of Rizzo at first, he still might come home.
Yeah, the only way he would come home is if it's a ball hit really hard right at him, So basically what you have for John Mayberry right now is a gimme RBI if you hit the ball past the pitcher. And as you said earlier, it's on the fly ball. This was always one of those, talk about situation hitting, situation hitting. This is situation hitting. Nothing easy in this game, but this is one of those ones, if you can hit a dribbler somewhere past the pitcher, you get an RBI and the lead. You strike out, nothing happens.
Castillo blocks that pitch to make it 2-1. Inside, and it's full 3-2.
Samardzija went with an off-speed pitch there, tried to get a strikeout. It may have been a split. It looked like it went down. Don't know, but that's a pitch he'll use for a strikeout a lot of times, is a split. 2-strike pitch for him. On our Bloomberg notes on him, pitch usage 2 strikes, 42% fastballs, and 33% splits. Now that shows you how much he likes that pitch for a strikeout.
Runners lead off second and third. And ground ball back toward the middle. That'll get a run home. And whoa, Castro booted it. I thought maybe it went into center field. So it gets one home. Ashe goes to third. It's 1-0 Phillies.
We're talking about if you just get it by the pitcher. You don't expect it that way. That appeared to be a split that was a ball, and he was trying to get out of the way of it and hit his bat. Kidding around, but there's a lot of ways to get an RBI right now. Watch this way. Right there, that's a ball. He's trying to get out of the way of it. Winds up hitting it. And not only does he get the RBI, as you said, he gets a hit. There goes Samardzija throwing the bare hand down because he knows it's not hit very hard because he didn't swing at it.
Well, you imagine if that ball just dribbled 5 or 6 more feet out to shallow center field. Ashe was already at third. He could have scored.
Sure.
So the misplay by Junior Lake in left field for a double helps the Phils' cause here in the bottom of the second. It's 1-0 off the RBI infield single. Martinez bunts and Murphy can't get it. That was not obviously a suicide squeeze. If anything, it would have been a safety squeeze.
You know,
he's got the pitcher up next, and he had to have been doing that on his own.
Yeah, it's not the right play, and you're trying to hit the ball in the air right now and get a fly ball and knock the second run in. Not bunting there because you might just get a second and third with 2 outs and the pitcher coming out.
Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
He's having trouble with that split. It looked like he tried it again that time, and they're high, like the one to Mayberry, and that one almost got away from Castillo, the catcher.
Inside, just missed. 2-2. Fastball at 94.
He tried a little comeback sinker that time, and it does miss. It's a good pitch, though. Let's see what he's trying to do and run it back. Oof, just off the plate.
He tried it again, and now it's 3-2.
You wonder if he'd throw that split now with a pitcher on deck, but there is only 1 out, so you have to think, well, I'll get to the leadoff guy. A walk-up.
So margin so far 4 full counts in the first couple innings of this game. Mayberry goes, pitches hit foul, and we'll do it over again.
It's a real good time to run him there, even though if you strike out into a double play, then the pitcher leads up. But their thinking right now is if you hit a ground ball here, you can get a run out of it by staying out of the double play. So they're gambling on he doesn't strike out into a double play.
Runner goes again, and the pitch is pulled into right field. That'll be in for a base hit. Ashe will score. Mayberry to third. It's 2-0. Phillies on top. Nice job by Michael Martinez to pick up just his 2nd RBI of the season.
Yeah, and running in that situation to get a runner to third, although Martin will probably bunt. But that's a good job. That's what we're talking about. You don't want to see him bunt in that situation. You wanted him swinging the bat, and something good happened out of it when he got to the 3-2.
So Martin will walk up to talk to Ryan Sandberg.
His job right now, if they want him to bunt, is just get the bunt down and get a 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. You're not trying to do anything fancy here.
Toss over to first. Martinez back.
Started to show it. Why not? If you're going to bunt, show it. Especially in this obvious a situation.
And he does bunt, and he bunts foul. It's no balls and 1 strike.
You need to get that bat head out a little bit there. He's back behind home plate, it appears, so you're going to bunt it foul that way. Well, so Marty, they're really making him work hard. 42 pitches already.
Martin squares again, and he bunts it foul again. It's 0-2. Might as well try it again.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't have a track record offensively.
Yeah, it's not a swing away situation.
And he bunts that one foul, so he's down on strikes. And there are 2 outs here in the 2nd. And top of the order, Kevin Franzen's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, guys, I guess it's that time of the year. This kind of news starting to come out. The Phillies have made an announcement. They've claimed Casper Wells, an outfielder, off of waivers. He played 41 games with both the A's and the White Sox this year, most recently with the White Sox. Ruben Amaro Jr. quoted in the press release saying he's a versatile outfielder who will add some depth and some power off the bench. So Wells will join the team in D.C. for the upcoming road trip. And, of course, a corresponding roster move will be made at that time. So Casper Wells is joining the Phils, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Former 14th round pick by the Detroit Tigers out of Towson University. He is out of Schenectady, New York. Wells has spent parts of 4 seasons in the big leagues. Kevin Franzen pulls that one towards shortstop. Castro gobbles it up and throws to second. Martinez is retired, and so are the Phillies, but they do strike for a couple runs here in the 2nd. on 4 base hits. We'll go to the third. Phillies up 2-0. Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, the question is, what Cub was the National League home run champion with 40 in 1990? Answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Wheels has a pretty good idea, it seems already, who the answer might be.
I guess.
That young lady might be typing in her answer right now and sending it along. She could be asking a question to the booth.
Could be.
Ethan Martin has a 2-0 lead as we go to the third.
He has to shake off the fact he didn't get the bunt down. You can tell he's pretty competitive and was not happy with himself. His technique was not real good. The bat was tilted back towards behind home plate, and it's tough to bunt it fair.
Here's Darwin Barney. Barney 0 for 6 so far in this series. Fastball up high, 1-0.
Go out there in the National League and you're throwing pretty well, and you have the 8-9. You have to be thinking, I've got an inning that I can handle a lot easier. So don't make problems out of it. Samardzija, these Cubs have a lot of good hitting pitchers in this club. He can hit some homers too.
John Mayberry, Michael Martinez helped Ethan Martin to this 2-run lead. Outside, 2-1. He ran that fastball away.
It was nice to see a check swing turn into something productive the way that it did.
Instead of a double play?
Yeah, or a pop up or something like that, yeah.
Barney pulls that foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Toyota Major League Scoreboard. They started at noon today up at Citi Field, and the Mets lead the Rockies 2-1. The Mets have overtaken the Phillies in the standings and are within a game of the Nationals for second place. They're tied in the loss column with the Nationals.
You can kind of see that coming with other teams floundering around like this.
Popped him up way up there. I don't know. No, he does see it. I wasn't sure if Michael Martinez saw it or not. He was on sort of an angle.
Yeah, well, that's the way you should do it. He has his glasses on. He took it off to the side and put the glove on. So he did the 2 things you really need to do is use your glove and use an angle.
Well, with 1 out, here's Samardzija. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, guys, we are asking the booth today, presented by Toyota. So the first question comes from at Who Wants Corn? And the question is, what will the starting rotation look like in 2014 in your mind, guys?
Speaking of corn, we had some corn the other day from Dallas Green.
I thought maybe it was
standing. I don't know if Dallas is tweeting at all.
Well, you never know.
You never know.
I think you know.
Yeah, you probably do know. 1 ball and 1 strike to Samardzija. Well, I think Hamels, Lee, Kendrick. I think Halladay. So that would be the 4th, and I think it would just remain who would be the fifth in the rotation. You know, depending on the health of Pettibone and his shoulder, it should be fine, and the development of Ethan Martin. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to think Martin at this point, and nothing against Jonathan Pettibone, but it's going to be one of those two guys, I think.
Yeah, that all makes sense, and Halliday's the big if. He's the one there, and have a better feel in a few weeks about Roy Halladay. Obviously, that guy will be the #1 guy in your rotation.
Now, the good thing is there will be depth with some major league experience, and then you also have Jesse Biddle, who's at AA right now. Hasn't had the best of second halves for the Reading Fightin' Phils, but you know he'll make some noise in 2014, I think. Anyway,
sounds like Adam Morgan's starting to get healthy too, which is a good sign.
So not to cop out on who the fifth will be, but you know, Lee, Hamels, Kendrick. I think Halladay, and again that depends. He's going to be a free agent. And then the fifth will be, you know, one of the young guys, I think. And
we're all sitting here speculating and talking about bodies that are available and here right now.
Sure.
And who knows what happens during the offseason.
Yeah, the Phillies may be content with John Lannon, that they bring him back for an opportunity to be the fifth starter again.
Another guy you want to put in the mix.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. 4 strikeouts for Ethan Martin. Now the Phillies will take on the Los Angeles Dodgers beginning Friday, August 16th. It's a 3-game series. Now Sunday there's a dual giveaway, Wheels. The Fanatic t-shirt, free defense 15 and over, and not to leave anybody out that's under 15, but the Fanatic Fathead, free defense 14 and under. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com.
Take care of everybody that way. Whoops. He tried a change up then? Yeah. That may have been the first one that he's thrown. I don't remember any others, and that's one thing they were talking about. Rich Dew was talking about before the game. They'd like him to try and throw a few, but they wanted to go more than 56, 7 feet.
I don't know. There might be some guys that would swing at it then.
There definitely are somebody that would swing at it.
That ball's pulled toward first, knocked down by Friends, and it's spitting away. Whoop! And his throw goes right on by Ethan Martin. Now the throw back, because he turned towards second, is not in time. It's going to be an interesting scoring decision for Jay Dunn, because he had time to get him.
Yeah, he did a terrific play knocking that thing down because it was hit so hard, but then doesn't make the play at first. So as you say, that's a tough scoring decision. There it is. That's the good part. Hits in the glove, getting his coconut out of the way, which is also a very good idea. And then just could have taken a little bit more time, panicked a little bit, and then threw it away.
So a runner at first with 2 outs. And they're going to score that a base hit. So it's the first hit of the day for the Cubs.
Scorers really like to make the first hit clean, no matter what. In that case, that's a tough play, especially when it's bouncing away from him and they scored a base hit.
Well, DeJesus, to his credit, was moving. As he hit it hard, he's thinking, oh, I got an easy knock here.
He thought it was a base hit when he hit it, because he hit it so hard he thought that thing was in the hole.
One ball and 1 strike with that slider.
I was going to say that was a little harder breaking ball there, and it had some tilt to it. His curveball has that big 12-6 action. His slider normally not going to have that much bite to it. That was a good one.
Thought I heard some chants going on. Kids in the upper level getting behind their Phillies. They lead it 2-0. That ball is looped out toward shallow right field. Utley out there. He can't get it. DeJesus goes on to third. So they'll be first and third with 2 outs.
Made a really good pitch with his fastball there. Not much you can do about it. Give Lake credit for making contact, flaring a base hit. Threw him a couple sliders, then runs a fastball in on his hands, fights it off.
So now first and third for Anthony Rizzo, who grounded out.
This is a guy you really have to watch now because he's their power hitter in this lineup.
That ball's hit well to center field. Mayberry's out there. It's going to stay in the yard. And the side is retired. That time, the fact that Rizzo swung at the first pitch helped Ethan Martin because he got it up a little bit in the zone. And the Cubs leave 2. We'll go to the bottom of the third here in Philadelphia. Times are waiting. Grab some buds. Buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. And buy Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking?
Well, the Phillies are going to experience Casper Wells coming over here, and he's with the White Sox. When they were here, he got a pinch hit in the first game of that doubleheader. And then he was 0 for 6 as a starting right fielder in Game 2. Didn't play on Sunday.
He's played for the Tigers. He's played for the Mariners. He's played, of course, for the White Sox. As Ruiz takes a strike, it's 0-1. In Oakland this year for just 5 plate appearances. 5 and only 5. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two pitch out toward shallow center field. That's going to be a tough play. DeJesus comes sliding in and makes the catch. And as far as DeJesus is concerned, he's thankful that Darwin Barney peeled off to the right at the last moment.
Yeah, sometimes you talk about sliding. That time is probably a great idea to slide so that you don't get your face plastered by your second baseman. Because this had a collision written all over it until, as Tom said, Barney gets out of the way. DeJesus sees it at the last split second, and then he's going to go into a slide to catch it and protect himself. That served a dual purpose for him.
He hasn't had the smoothest of series out in center field, but he did a nice job on that play.
Well, it was coming in as opposed to going back.
Very true. Here's Utley, who takes low and in, 1 ball and no strikes. New Jersey's own David DeJesus, who went to Rutgers University.
Big overshift on for Chase Utley. Pull defense in the infield.
Chase grounded out to the middle his first time up. It was a 10-pitch at bat.
You see right there, Murph's way off the line at third, in between tweets.
I have to admit, I looked down to first base when you said that. Murph, I'm serious. I looked down to see where you are when Wheels just said that.
Well, Wheels is right. I am way off the line.
You are way off the line, tucked into the camera well.
That's right.
Seriously off the line, Murph.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Chase Utley.
Now you're going to mix it up.
That one's pulled down the right field line, and it's in for a base hit and going to the wall. And Utley's going to second. And he's there standing.
Well, they were playing him to pull, but he hit it over everybody. Like a breaking ball, or maybe cut it in on him a little bit. Didn't get it far enough in, and Chase put a good swing on it. Samardzija throws him here. Probably a slider, and he got a lot of the plate, and Chase Utley pulls it down the line for an easy stand-up double.
So he's in scoring position now for Dominic Brown, the youngest Philly to get 25 home runs at this point in the season since Pat Burrell did it. Hit his 25th last night. You know, I read one report that said his home run estimated, the estimated distance was like 460 feet or something like that. We were told 421.
Yeah, it was a long. Well, I remember saying at the time that was an easy, smooth 430. I don't know what it was officially because they got all different ways of measuring it, but it hit that wall out there above the bullpen.
Yeah, unofficially we were told 421. Not many balls go out in that neighborhood.
Not that fast.
That one's out toward right center field. It's not deep. Sherholtz comes in, makes the catch. There are 2 outs. And Darren Ruff is coming up. Murph, take it away, buddy.
All right, guys. Ask in the booth. This one coming from T. Flynn, and it's for Wheels. They ask us, the folks want to know, Wheels, what is your favorite song as of right now, today?
They do the one that you Shazammed before when Ethan Martin was warming up.
Oh, man. How about that song?
Yeah.
What was it? I can't even pronounce it. Favorite song of the day? Oof.
Could be any song.
You know what? On the way in, I was listening to Elvis radio and I heard American Trilogy. So I was humming that all the way in.
All right, American Trilogy is Wheels' song of the day.
From Elvis. Yeah.
That'll be our next sponsored element. Wheels' song of the day. Murph, what do you got, buddy?
I hope not.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I don't know what mine would be. 5 o'clock somewhere, maybe?
That would be so appropriate.
That's a good one for you.
Breaking ball, that's a strike, and it's 0-2.
If we were headed to Atlanta, American Trilogy would have really been perfect.
Darren Ruff singled his first time up and then scored the first run for the Phillies. That one's hit well to left field. Lake going back toward the track to the wall. It is gone. A 2-run home run for Darren Ruff. His 5th of the year. It's 4-0 Phillies.
We figured we were going to get a winner today. I hope we're going to get a winner because the way the ball should be carrying on a day like this, and that kid right there is mule strong. When you see a swing like that, and that was a couple rows back too.
Well, the winner is Diane Henney of Reading, Pennsylvania. She's won $100.
Pull his arms in a little bit on that. It was a fastball. Watch him pull his arms in, and he gets some backspin on it. And power hitters get backspin, and you don't teach it.
Well, now Cody Ashew doubled his first time up, and he pulls one into right field, a base hit. Well, Ashew's going to see his batting average continue to rise at a large amount each time he gets a base hit these first few weeks. He was at 143 when the day began.
Well, I think as Dale Swain looks on there and sees his pitcher in trouble, one good thing for Ashe is, even though he was in that funk, struggling when he first got here, he knew he was going to play. It wasn't like, oh man, if I go 1 for 20, I'm back in Lehigh Valley. No, they said he was going to play.
Well, his average is up to 217 now. Breaking ball. That's a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. Inside, 1-1 the count. Now 63 pitches for Samardzija. Gave up 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 here in the third. One of those runs scored on a base hit by Mayberry. An infield hit. And out of play, it's 1-2. And a called strike 3. Threw him the slider, and the side is retired. However, a 2-run home run by Darren Ruff, his second hit of the day, has given the Phillies a 4-0 lead. Pretty sweet swing from Darren Ruff. Ruff with that 2-run home run now has 5 on the year, and the Phils lead it by 4. Break room. Whether it's a candy bar to satisfy your sweet tooth, Sarge, or a healthy snack to keep you in playing shape, WB Mason has all the bases covered. Who but WB Mason? Nate Scherholtz will lead it off. Phils are up 4-0. Darren Ruff has hit 3 home runs in this month. August does seem to be his month. Sherholtz struck out his first time up. And that's at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, Darren's starting to recognize that inside pitch there where he's not getting jammed as much. And when you have that open stance, when you get to a certain area, you know that that ball should be a strike or a ball, and he's been able to recognize that and let it go.
Little high, 2 balls and 1 strike to Sherholtz. The ball may have slipped right on out of Ethan Martin's hand. He has a tendency to just grab some of that dirt. Very small amount, it seems. He does it quite often. That ball's hit well, and it is gone. Off the Budweiser sign. And it's now a 4-1 ball game. Hit the Budweiser sign. I think it came back and hit one of the vendors right in the back. 15th home run this year for Sherholtz.
Well, I tell you, he's had a good year. That's what happens though when you get hungry. It's got to be right down the middle in. Ball right off the sign there. It had some more distance to go, believe it or not. That Karen's off. Look out there.
It would have been nice if you would have said look out earlier, Sarge. On the replay, it really didn't help him.
Well, it's got to be bad of hearing because you should have heard that one.
Here's Donnie Murphy. He popped out his first time up to chase Utley at second over toward the line. There's the vendor, who unfortunately was hit by that home run off the Budweiser sign.
I hope it didn't hit him, squarely.
I hope it didn't hit him in the side of the head, because he's right. He would have been knocked out. Foul ball, and it's 1-2.
At this time of the year, you make a bad pitch, middle in there, and it's early in the count too, especially when hitters are looking for fastballs. Good things aren't going to happen for you.
In the dirt with that breaking ball. 2-2.
Really valuable for these younger pitchers coming up. Get a taste in their mouths on this Major League Baseball. More importantly, to kind of learn what it's all about. A lot of times in the minor leagues, you can get away with pitches because you throw so hard. But once you get up on this particular level, it doesn't matter how hard you throw. You have to be able to mix your pitches up. Soft, hard, slow, up, down.
Towering fly ball, shallow right center. Utley makes the call and makes the catch. One away here in the fourth. Wellington Castillo's due up. Saturday, August 17th from 5 until 7 p.m. the Phillies will be holding a party tent event to benefit the Fans Feeding Families program. It's going to be here at Citizens Bank Park. Now, there'll be special guests that will be at this event. I'll be there. The Fanatic will be there as well. Plus, there'll be a player that will stop by. It benefits Full Abundance, and they do such a great job in the city. For information or to purchase the pin you see right there, go to Phillies.com/feedingfamilies. There's the pin that we've been talking about the last couple of years. It's changed in design with each passing year. Citizens Bank does a great job, along with Roy and Brandy Halliday's Family Foundation and the Phillies, to promote the Fans Feeding Families program. And over the last several years, not only has a lot of money been raised to go toward the purchase of food, but thanks to the folks at Aramark and Goya Foods, There has also been a whole lot of food donated to Phil Abundance. And again, everything that is raised, everything that's collected will go toward helping Phil Abundance. 3 balls, no strikes to Castillo. Now, if Doc is in town, then he will be at that event. But his schedule, which will include a simulated game on Saturdays, for good reason, is kind of up in the air right now. That is the first walk issued by Martin. And it'll bring Starlin Castro up.
It looked like he was trying to aim that particular pitch, get it in a good spot, which was going to be down and away. Just got to let it go. Got to trust your stuff as he turns around to see exactly who he's going to have on that double play. Always important to know that, whether or not it's the shortstop or the second baseman.
Lost the strike zone a little bit here with these last couple batters.
He doesn't have to make a great pitch. Just make a good pitch.
That wasn't a bad pitch. It was just a little low. It's now 2-0.
Yeah, just because, though, he hasn't been around that strike zone, sometimes you don't get the close pitches. Trying to be a little bit too fine. You have that lead, you got to really go right at those hitters.
Outside, ball 4. So back-to-back walks. And that'll put runners on first and second. Rich Doobie's going to come out to chat with Ethan Martin. For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Well, this seems to be the right time to go out and chat with Ethan Martin. He's walked a couple. He's allowed a home run. His pitch count's getting up there a little bit. But he still can manage his way through this inning without allowing any more runs with Darwin Barney, the number 8 hitter for Chicago, and Samardzija due up. Martin was a hot pitcher coming up from Lehigh Valley. His earned run average in his last 9 starts with the Iron Pigs was 2.55. He had a rough month of April, but since April, he really found his strike zone and also found his location and an ability to get outs. As he throws a strike there, it's 0-1. He had 11 wins for the Iron Pigs. No balls, 1 strike. Outside, they'll throw behind the runner at first. And Castro is back. It worked last night with Cody Ransom.
Yeah, that's a situation there when you're behind. You almost don't even want them to throw over. So Cody just taking a little bit too much, and I thought for sure he was out. But no reason to be out that far to even draw a throw. Just not a good play.
Now 2-1.
Starting to become predictable. Not able to get other pitchers over, so hitters will start to look for his fastball. Just make sure it's in a good location, preferably down and away where he can get that ground ball.
We went after a high fastball, and Cody Ashley will go over toward the railing. He'll be out of room. And it's now 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's the pitch that he got Donnie Murphy out on. That high fastball in this inning.
It's okay to throw up there every now and then, but you don't want to try and live up there. Plus, too, I thought that was a ball. And for Barney, you want that ball down some. Any of the hitters that would be there.
Ground ball right side. Utley's got it there, second for 1. The throw to first, not in time. But there are 2 outs, and the pitcher is due up. Barney has not had a good year offensively, but he does run pretty well, so that was going to be a tough double play. And now Samardzija, who struck out his first time up, will be the hitter for the Cubs.
Yeah, beat him with a fastball.
Runners lead off first and third. Samardzija takes strike 1. He has 4 hits and 41 at bats. Does have a home run.
Didn't spend a lot of time in the minor leagues. Samardzija getting up there relatively early.
Yeah, they were kind of indecisive once he got to the majors what he was going to do, whether he was going to be a starting pitcher or a relief pitcher.
One thing Jim Henry promised him, which is true, that you choose baseball instead of on that football field, that you'll get there a lot quicker, and he sure did.
To the right side, and Franzen is there. Side is retired. So it got a little tough for Ethan Martin, but he allows just the solo home run by Nate Shearholtz. We're through 3.5. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Michael Martinez is set to lead things off for the Phillies. If it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Buy McDonald's. I'm loving it. And buy Nissan. And Nissan's bottom line sales event. Choose a better way to drive and save. Choose Nissan.com today. Bottom of the 4th inning. Phillies up 4-1. Sarge, you have 2 hats here today. And I'm wondering, was there sort of an indecision on what color hat you were going to wear this afternoon?
Yeah, I was going to go with just the solid blue. I didn't have really the color that you actually picked out. So I was having a difficult time, you're right, in trying to match that up. But looking at that monitor, though, looks like it's okay. What do you think?
Yeah, it matches fine, but let's see the other
one.
one.
I brought the blue hat in just as a standby.
You want us to ask the folks on Twitter, ask the booth, which hat you should be wearing?
No, I know what hat I should be wearing. We'll have to ask them on Twitter. Okay? Let's not get into that. Oh, gosh.
You want to answer the question about how many you have, how many hats you have?
You know, Tom, I have so many hats. Let's face it.
That's not a
number. You can't go into... you know what? If I was to actually throw a number out just in this particular state, I'd have to say close to maybe a little over 200.
You have 200 hats in the state of Pennsylvania?
Yeah, here.
Michael Martinez is 2 for 2.
Yeah, and I'm counting just, Kangos. I'm counting fedoras. Counting my regular baseball kind of caps. Yeah.
All right, so you have...
And maybe more, by the way.
200 hats in the city of Philadelphia. How many in New Jersey? How many in New Jersey?
I don't have not one in New Jersey. Might have a few in Chicago.
That's not true. I have a few at my house that you gave me.
Well, yeah, okay, well.
Martin squares, and he bunts. He gets it down this time. That's a good bunt. Martinez goes to second. Sacrifice is successful. 1-4 on the putout. Murph, what do you got, buddy?
Well, I was going to ask the booth, why do you have 200 hats in the state of Pennsylvania?
Thanks, Mark. Well, first of all, I'll just say that there are some that really wear out, and each year with the company, we have new hats that come out. So you got to keep it sort of fresh.
I always forget that you have a company.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But we get new hats that come out, so it's you got to change it up some. You can't wear the same kind of hats.
Sarge is always looking fresh. That is true. You are.
Thank you.
Kevin Franzen takes low. It's 1-0. Murphy, you have a question, buddy?
Yeah, you want to go with the real Ask the Booth? Yeah, we do. This is coming from Jers Girl AKS. She wants to know, I guess this is based off of last night in Navarro, but what's the most horrendous injury you've ever seen in baseball?
Well, right away for me, it's Brian Asselstein, who actually was with the Atlanta Braves. His foot got caught in the fence, ruined his career. As he came down, it just really, it was as bad as Buster Posey's accident. The difference is that I saw that really firsthand, and one of the reasons, too, they got away from the wire fence is because of that particular accident. But that is the worst I've seen, and it did ruin his career. That would really be the worst one for me. There's been some pitchers that have broken their arms that I wasn't actually there that looked pretty awful, but I was at the game with Brian.
I remember in the minor leagues, I think it was Jason Moeller, who was playing for the Reading Phillies at the time in Double-A. I'm pretty sure he broke his leg on a play at second base at Waterfront Park. That was the worst one I've seen in person baseball-wise.
Well, last night, too, this was pretty tough there. Take a look at the throw. Now, you look at Navarro there. You see how low that he actually got on that position? Here comes Utley. Utley has nowhere to go at all but to go on and crash into him. When you slow it down, it looks like that he could slide, but he's in a position there as Samardzija goes up high and throws the ball high. Slides in safe there. Franzen getting down. But when you have a throw for a catcher that comes in late, and I actually called and talked with Jody Davis about that, you got to be a lot higher. He put himself in a position. Take a look here at this throw. That ball there high as Franzen gets down. If it's a low throw, he might have him. Sandberg's going to actually call him safe too as he gets in, just with a little bit of help. Sorry, that's Martinez getting down there. Good slide, good reaction as he's getting down.
Well, that puts runners on first and third with one out. Carlos Ruiz is the batter. It's a fielder's choice for Kevin Franzen, not a hit. So the Phillies lead it 4-1. They're looking for some more here against Jeff Samardzija. And Ruiz bunts toward first. Here comes Martinez. No play anywhere. And it's 5-1 Phillies. Little safety squeeze from Carlos Ruiz. And that'll be a base hit and an RBI.
That's catching him right by surprise again there. Charlie's clapping his hand. Carlos not swinging very well. That's a good way to get someone out of their slump. Something positive that's going on right there. Take a look at it. Just gets it in a terrific area. Fake here. Again, you got to be going to that bag there. Take a look at Samardzija as he's getting ready to maybe, well, that's the reason why he couldn't get over. They're going to collide with each other as he was trying to get over to first base. But good play, though, by Charlie in the fighting field.
Well, and Barney, the second baseman, was shaded toward the middle, so he had no chance to get over to cover first. So once there was no play at the plate, there truly was no play. So the Phillies lead 5-1. Utley's up with runners on first and second.
Especially after that collision.
Now, Sarge, you were saying before Jody Davis and Mick Billmeier did the same thing, that Navarro got maybe too low, and that opened himself up for Chase to come in the way he did.
Yeah, and actually going down and talking with Navarro, you can bet he's never going to get that low again. But I was asking him, who's teaching catching in the organization? And he says, well, they teach more infield. They'll teach you to block the ball, but they're not teaching how to get in position on plays that are coming to the plate. But that's a learning experience where he was actually walking around, no crutches at all, which is good. Wow. He was very, very lucky. But then he just said he won't be getting down in that position, again. But that's something, though, you should know right away, because when runners are coming around third base, they are looking to try and get in to score. If you don't give them any play, you're going to have a collision. I mentioned before that Johnny Bench and I had that same kind of collision, although he was not low on that, and that ended up taking him into the 75. We ended up having that collision. That injury took him right into that next year, 76.
Utley serves one out toward left center. Lake's coming on. He's not going to get there. Franzen's around third. He's heading home. He's going to score. Utley pulls into second. It's his second double of the day. 6-1. Phillies on top. And they are really banging around Samardzija. They're hitting him soft, and they're hitting him hard, and they've got a 5-run lead.
Boy, doing a good job there and squaring up some pitches. Having good at-bats. That's what it's all about, hitting the ball where it's pitched. That ball away. Utley splitting the gap there. Franzen comes in your pitcher. Never fails, though. Anytime you're scoring runs, just seems like your team has so much energy.
Well, Chris Basio is wandering out to the mound, giving his bullpen a chance to warm up. Eduardo Sanchez, who was just added to the roster today, re-added to the roster today because Matt Guerrier, who was pitching last night, hurt his arm. Didn't find that out until after the game.
Wow.
So Sanchez was brought back up to the major leagues. Rockies will be here Monday, August 19th. That's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. It's the next one here at Citizens Bank Park. And the series also has another Bobble figurine giveaway. It's the Cole Hamels Bobble figurine, thanks to the folks at Pico. It's free to all fans on Wednesday, August 21st at 7:05. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Basio heads back to the dugout. Dominic Brown is the batter with the Phillies up 6-1.
I thought maybe they were going to go on and elect to maybe walk him, pitch to the right-hander, and see whether or not they're going to really go at him. This is when a hitter has to recognize whether or not a pitcher is actually trying to get you out or not. And you're looking to get the ball up in the zone, try and keep it off the ground.
Well, the fish aren't biting right now, and Dominic Brown is ahead 2-0. Ball 3. Now they'll probably just put him on. Nope, they're going to keep on pitching to him.
And I would just really just take a pitch just to see exactly what he's trying to do. He went right at him. Ball could have been a little bit down, a little bit anxious. Again, you want to try and get that ball up so you're not hitting it on the ground.
Off the end of the bat, that's going to drop for a base hit to left center field. 2 runs are going to score. Utley saw it right away. It's a 2-run single for Dominic Brown, and the Phillies have added to their lead. They've scored 4 runs here in the 4th, and they lead it 8-1. Now that's going to be it for Jeff Samardzija. His afternoon is done as Dale Swaim is coming out. And he's going to go to his bullpen with Darren Ruff due up. Now the Phillies certainly come out swinging the bats today. 11 hits in the first 4 innings. That's a season high allowed by Samardzija. They've scored 8 runs. Dominic Brown is still his responsibility. This is an AT&T call to the bullpen here at Citizens Bank Park. One out and a runner at first. Time now for a Coors Light freeze cap. Well, this play was a big one off the bat of Kevin Franzen.
Yeah, it sure was. As he throws high, see Martinez getting down and getting away from that tag there. Low throw might have been a little different. Goes right on in. Sandberg calling him safe. Good play. That's your Coors Light freeze cap.
Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Now, the reason that's a big play is that would have been the second out of the inning if they would have gone to first. And the next batter, Carlos Ruiz, he wound up bunting and driving in Martinez. He would not have bunted at that point. And the inning could have been totally different, but credit the Phillies for capitalizing on that mistake. Eduardo Sanchez, 2 games so far in the big leagues. He just went down to the minor leagues and now has been brought back up because of the injury to Matt Guerrier. And he will face Darren Ruff with a runner at first.
Well, it's starting to really not only getting closer to the plate a little bit, but recognizing and driving balls out of the ballpark. Nice hitting there, Darren Ruff.
Well, and for that home run and each one hit by the Phillies this year, 1 tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of Plant 1 Million, a project to restore the region's tree coverage. For more info, visit phillies.com/red goes green. Darren Ruff, a single and a home run today. Outside.
Yeah, that's what happens when you start driving balls out of the ballpark, especially when they're middle in. That's when a hitter is able to dictate the pitch he wants to hit, because pitcher will fear trying to come inside because you're driving that ball.
How about he has scored 17 runs in 25 games? Well, 26 now.
Yeah. He's been relaxed and getting the opportunity up here to play, again, and getting some at bats, not sitting down. That really helps him. That confidence.
Foul territory. Rizzo may have a play on the track. Oh, he misread that one. He thought he went to the spot, but the spot was probably about 7 or 8 feet behind him.
Yeah, that ball, tough ball to hit. It was changing different directions.
No play on that one.
Yeah, that's a ball too. He should have hammered slider right almost down the middle. Little bit late on it.
Last August, in 31 games, Darren Ruff hit 20 home runs. But he has 3 home runs here in the month of August. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got another slider and he hits it foul.
And that's the pitch. Once he ends up being able to hit that ball consistently, he should be able to put up numbers in the major leagues. He already can hit the fastball, doesn't have to be taught that. Just that breaking ball, the slider, you got to make sure it's up, and as a right-handed hitter, you have a tendency to swing at the one that's down and away.
Swing and a miss. And Ruff is struck out. There are 2 outs for Cody Ashe. Ashe's also 2 for 2 today. Ashe takes outside, 1-0. Doubled his first time off the glove of Junior Lake. Singled his last time up.
Starting to really get pretty good wood on the balls that he's been hitting.
Well, and they're dropping too, which is a big thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you want them to drop. You want to hit it hard, and you're right, though. Once they end up dropping, you feel that much better.
That ball's hit well deep to right field. Going back on it is Sherholtz. Back to the wall. It is gone. The first major league home run for Cody Ashe. And the Phillies now lead it 10-1. He's 3 for 3 and just the triple away from the cycle. That's awesome.
Oh boy, he drops the head of the bat right on the ball there. Down and in, and boy, I tell you what, he's going to feel good that he got through with that one. You get that home run over with, like you do the base hit. Take a look at it as he drops the head. Bam! Right there as it gets out of the ballpark. Got some good sound to it. You can always tell they're going out of the ballpark. Nice hitting. Congratulations on your first one.
Yeah, now the Phillies have this program where the fan who gets the ball right there can go up and get the ball autographed by Cody Ashe, but I think there's going to be a little different autograph that'll be given out for that first home run by Cody Ashe.
Oh, okay. Well, they're negotiating right now.
Well, good for Cody Ashe. Congratulations to him. 3 for 3 today. His average now at 250. Mayberry takes strike 2. It's 0-2.
Just a little bit of a spinner there. Mayberry with those quick feet. You have quick feet. As he talks with Steve Henderson over there, along with Michael Young.
Out towards center field. Here comes DeJesus. He slides and makes the catch.
Well, he stayed on that one, though.
9 men come to the plate in the inning for the Phillies. Whole lot of offense. Ruiz smartly the safety squeeze. Well, that wasn't the hardest hit ball, of course, because then Chase Utley, Dominic Brown, they followed with some sweet swings, and it was all capped off by Cody Ashley's first major league home run that he got right out of the yard to give the Phillies a 10-1 lead. They banged out 6 runs on 5 hits in their half of the 4th. And David DeJesus will lead it off against Ethan Martin, who's got a very comfortable lead that he can run with right now.
Well, makes it easier for you to pitch. Although, when you have this big lead, you want to go out as if the score is 0-0. Continue to make your pitches. Pitchers really love that when you're just getting runs all kind of different ways. Gary Wood used to talk about that he's never lost with 12 runs.
Better not have lost with 12 runs.
Well, especially with his stuff, but it was always like a little joke. He'd start the game, hey guys, get me 12. I've never lost with 12 runs before.
2-1 pitch. Up high. Now 3 balls and 1 strike. Ball 4. So DeJesus is aboard to lead off the 5th. That's the 3rd walk in 2 innings now for Ethan Martin.
Get into trouble if he starts walking back. Got this kind of a lead. You want to make him hit to get on. Obviously, not trying to walk him, but got to be able to execute on this level.
Junior Lake struck out his first time up, reached on a wild pitch, and then singled his last time. He drops a slider in for strike 1. It's 0-1. Junior Lake has 29 hits in 21 games. Out towards center field, playable for Mayberry. And that brings Anthony Rizzo to the plate.
Got a good body, though, for an athlete. It looks like he might be able to hit.
Well, of those 29 hits, he's had 2 4-hit games already.
Wow.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. I mentioned the other day that Rizzo signed a 7-year contract extension with the Cubs last year. It also includes an option for years 8 and 9. So that's going to take him right through his peak seasons, or some of them.
Well, he elected to go more for the security right now as opposed to maybe waiting like some of the other players have done.
Curveball they appeal, and no swing, says Jordan Baker.
And for the Cubs' sake, I mean, they're getting a guy that can certainly hit the ball out of the ballpark, but more importantly, that they can build around, and they know that they're going to have him for all those years. Trying to see how he winds up. That's his loading position to be able to hit the ball. He's got somewhat of an open stance, not as wide as Darren Ruff. See that? That's an open stance.
3 balls and 1 strike.
I always thought you could see the ball better that way as a closed stance, but very simple. Whatever the hitter, how they feel up at the plate. Good spot.
Figure he's going to challenge him here. He's up 10-1.
You would hope so.
He did challenge him with a fastball. It was up in the zone, and it was fouled back by Rizzo. Martin's only allowed 3 hits so far. To left field. Dominic Brown on the run. He won't get to that one. It's off the wall. He plays it well. The throw goes toward third. It'll be a double for Rizzo. And that's runners on second and third with 1 out.
Gives you an indication of just how strong this hitter is, going off the wall there in left field. 334 away from home plate. Good play, however, by Dominic. That's hitting the ball right where it's pitched there. He kind of thought maybe he got enough, but look at the angle there that Dominic actually takes and throws that ball in. Boy, he's really getting good in the outfield. Recognizing not going to catch the ball and going on that angle.
The Phillies will get the bullpen up with 1 out here in the 5th inning. On the hands, over toward third. Ashe makes the call and makes the catch.
Good pitch.
It was a very good pitch. Phillies recognize that he has a 10-1 lead, but they also don't want his pitch count to get out of control. I mean, they threw a really good pitch there. That's why Minor's warming up. Now, he's a big, strong kid. You would expect he can go into the low hundreds with his pitch count, even if you are an advocate of managing a pitch count.
Well, he wants this inning regardless. In the worst way.
Oh. First pitch to Donnie Murphy, just a little inside, 1-0. He's got Murphy to pop up twice to Utley. Once over toward the line at first, the other one into shallow right field. Or right center field, I should say. Got him to pop up again. Ashe, the third baseman, comes onto the infield grass and makes the catch. Side is retired. Ethan Martin is through 5 innings this afternoon. He has a 9-run lead to work with as we go to the bottom of the 5th. #1 mobile app for live baseball, available for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Phillies baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. Well, 2 of the youngsters the Phillies have brought up these last couple of weeks, Ethan Martin and Cody Ashe, discussing probably what Martin was able to do to get through the 5th inning. He's probably done. They've got Minor, who's kind of stretched out in the bullpen, so he can come in and pick up in the 6th inning. Eduardo Sanchez came on to pick up Jeff Samardzija in the 4th. Speaking of Cody Ashe, it's time for our key up minor league players of the month. Greg Smith did very well in the month of July for Lehigh Valley. In 5 starts, he was 3-0 with an earned run average of 1.06.
Wow.
And of course, Ashe earned the call up partly because of the numbers he put up in the month of July. OPS 978. That's the combination of on base percentage and slugging percentage. Somebody asked me that the other day. We don't say that often, the OPS. It's used all around baseball. And there was a young fan who asked me the other day, well, what is that? And it's the combination, the numbers of your on base percentage and your slugging percentage combined, and people around baseball use it more and more. As Martinez flies out, and Delman Young will pinch hit for Ethan Martin. Delman hitting .262 with 8 home runs and 31 runs batted in. A strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, we talk about open stances a lot. Darren Ruff has that. Well, when you look at Delman Young, that's a closed stance as opposed to being opened up. And again, it's just whatever that hitter feels and how comfortable he feels.
Was there a point in your career where you ever experimented with, because you were pretty straight. You weren't.
Just open a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But did you ever experiment with a closed stance at all?
Well, more so up and down, meaning that sometimes I'd go back, sometimes I'd get on the plate, not changing.
Your foot, where your feet were.
Exactly.
Okay.
You know, but I would change and go toward the pitcher some, just to change that the way the ball is actually coming in. Maybe sometimes getting a little bit closer, and at times backing up.
Delman Young is down on strikes. He just blew him away with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. 2 outs. Kevin Franzen's coming up. Let's check in with Murph. Murph, what's going on, buddy?
All right, guys, we'll continue to Ask the Booth, presented by Toyota. This one coming from Trail Off Comedy, and kind of an interesting question. If you had to name the ballpark after a former player, who would it be and why?
This particular ballpark?
I assume, yeah.
Well, I would think, I don't want to deviate from the question, but I would probably name it after HK. I mean, I know he's not a former player, but arguably one of the greatest sports figures in the history of the city.
Well, you know what? For me, and if it's got to be, a player. I got to tell you, I really like Robin Roberts. I don't know how we could. And again, the reason I do is because of the history that we would talk about with the Fighting Fields, and he loved this team like you've never seen, never would miss a game. So Robin Roberts Stadium.
It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I wish I would have even talked to him more, and he would always stop and talk to you about anything about baseball.
He was even up, a few months before he passed, he was still right on everything when it came to the ball club. Phillies go down in order in their half of the 5th. We'll go to the 6th inning. The Phils in commanding control up by 9. Of the week is back with the Phillies and getting on base on a regular basis. The Phillies have been in need of a right-handed presence in their lineup, and Darren has provided the punch they were looking for. Consistency will be the key for the 27-year-old trying to prove he belongs at the major league level. His performance at the plate hasn't been rough at all, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, after a day like this, that's not a bad selection. Darren Ruff is homered this afternoon for the Phillies. He's also singled and scored a couple runs. Ethan Martin's afternoon is done. Zach Minor will take over for him. Just his second outing of the year. Minor went 2 2/3 the other day against the Braves. And that was also in relief of Ethan Martin.
Well, you want him to leave on a good note. You'd hate for him to go out there and give up a bunch of runs. That would not make him feel good. Well, take a look at some of these highlights from him. Now, he's kind of showing that he can pitch. That breaking ball there, he's going to have to get over it a little bit more. And I would think that's where you want that fastball. And that's when he did get out of a jam there. Good pitch there. He got that pop-up. That was his last out as he could come off the field and feeling pretty good about his game.
Well, he is in line if the Phillies can hold on to this 9-run lead for his first major league victory. 5 innings in the books. We go to the 6th. Zach Minor takes over. First pitch is fouled away. It's 0-1.
Well, you can't hold this lead. You have some serious problems in the 6th.
Well,
I've seen it done. I mean, before where teams are going back and scoring a lot of runs. If this is the game they need, as they're going to be going in to Washington.
Well, the other part of it too, and I know that they're 11 under 500 at this point, but the Mets have already won today. They're now 52 and 60.
And no matter what, you want to finish as high as you possibly can if you're not in first place. And that's where that respect factor comes in, and the pride about your game will come in, and it will be tested. Well, in Atlanta, they did what they had to do, coming in here, sweeping the fighting fields, going to Washington and knocking them out. But regardless, it'd still be nice to try and finish there, second or third. Any more games for that.
Ground ball over to third. Ashe. One out here in the top of the sixth. And that'll bring Starlin Castro to the plate. Castro is 0 for 1. A nice crowd on hand today on a hot afternoon. We said the temperature at game time was 86 degrees. Sun's out right now. There are clouds up above, out towards Center City. And a strike to Castro, 0-1.
Low on base percentage for him. 281. It's just been one of those kind of years. Hasn't been able to get it going.
They have any theories why so much?
Well, I mean, again, a young player, he's had a lot of success, and one of the few times, or if ever, that he's had to struggle, and it's been difficult for him. Swinging at a lot more bad pitches, a lot of fastballs up in the zone.
Way outside, 2-2.
Well, you're looking at a player, too, for the most part, who's always hitting third in that lineup. You're hitting third. You're considered one of the better hitters there on the team, if not the best hitter. That's why it's a game of adjustment. So if things aren't going well, he's going to have to adjust.
Swing and a miss, 2 outs. It was a good sinker right there by Zach Miner. And that'll bring Darwin Barney to the plate. On Thursday, August 29th, Comcast Sportsnet at Atlantic City invite you to join the Philly Fanatic to watch the Phillies take on the Mets on a giant screen on the beach of Atlantic City. Find out more information where it's located by going to Phillies.com/beach. Breaking ball, and it's 0-1 to Barney. He's 0 for 2. He's popped out to short. He's grounded into a fielder's choice. Little spinner. Miner's off the mound. He's got it. And a 1-2-3 sixth inning. Nice job by Zach Miner to retire the Cubs in order. In their half of the sixth, we move to the bottom of the sixth inning here in South Philadelphia, and Carlos Ruiz is due to lead it off. and you can't go wrong when you buy right. By the Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further and buy Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. Bottom of the sixth, Phillies up 10-1. Eduardo Sanchez will continue on. It'll be Carlos Ruiz, Chase Utley, Dominic Brown. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Phillies. Now the pride of the Phillies print given out today to all fans here at Citizens Bank Park. It's a Citizens Bank Business Person Special, and it's the Chase Utley pride of the Phillies print. These youngsters still have it in their possession. Some are using it as a visor, though.
Yeah, I tell you what's really great, you have so many young fans these days. And the reason being all the success that the fighting fields have had over the past few years. And you see that red, not just here at this ballpark, but you'll see that in Washington. All the different cities that we go to, very well represented.
I'm interested to see what the weekend is like in D.C. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of Phillies fans, but they are seriously underachieving as a team.
They've gotten beat up. And after the manager, I mean, Davey Johnson, saying that he was going to actually run away with it. Good pitch, slider. But more so, though, I mean, when you go back a year ago and then you decide not to really pitch one of your best pitchers on the team in Strasburg and saving him for the future is there now. That particular year, the future's right there. You want to be able to win when you can. There's no guarantee the next year having the same team that you're going to win.
Well, that young fan looks like he's as mad as the National fans at Davey Johnson. He didn't get something, Sarge. I don't know what it was, but he didn't get something.
He's got that walk.
That's a walk that you and I are very familiar with.
There's no doubt about it.
Maybe he's mad at the sun.
Well, maybe ready to go. I had a tendency to give in most of the time, especially if there was any loud noise involved with it.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Ruiz. Inside and high, 2-2. Carlos bunted his last time up, got an RBI with that. He's also fly to center, and he's gone down looking on strikes.
Still timing off just a hair. Still not ready, or hasn't gotten on track yet with that swing. It's been close a couple times.
Two balls, two strikes to Ruiz. Fouls it away toward the upper deck.
Oh, and he's hitting good. That's a pitch there that he just not going to miss. That ball, two seamers. It comes right back into the swing. Got to look out now for that little slide piece down and away. Going right back to that fastball.
Ruiz hits it out toward right. Sherholtz on the run, and he makes the catch. And that's one out here in the sixth. Now the Arizona Diamondbacks will be visiting Philadelphia just one time this year, and it's Friday, August 23rd. It's a 7:05 first pitch. How about this giveaway? It's one of the best of the year. It's from Total, and it's all part of 1990's Retro Night. It's the John Kruk action figurine. That's free to fans 14 and under. Fans 15 and older will get a retro print free. Get your tickets by going to Phillies.com. Utley has 2 doubles today. He is 18 on the year. He has driven in a run. He has 44 runs batted in. His average of 280. Sarge, I woke up today and I decided I'm going to put the chicken outfit on.
Well, as long as you're having fun, it's okay. But you're not going to argue about that, are you? I mean,
not going to argue about chicken.
You're going to let them.
86 degrees.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? I mean, they want to wear it. They're the ones that are sweating.
I don't know.
Let me tell you, you don't go to the game unless he can wear his uniform on.
I think that youngster must have a plan. Must be a reason. Maybe the Fanatic wants to be a participant in the Fanatic dugout dance or something.
Well,
there's always a reason.
It's pretty hot and humid, I think. I mean, he just probably likes it. What are you going to do?
Ground ball foul. And Utley's alive. It remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Seen a couple of good catches so far today. Nice grab right there by that.
Wow.
That gentleman right there.
Usually they give up.
Oh, isn't that nice?
For that. 2.
A couple of catches. There was a young lady who caught a ball down the right field line earlier in this inning. Utley holds off 2-2. Here's the young lady down the right field line. Now take a look. She's ready. She's sizing it up. Oh, and she makes the grab.
Oh.
She did not get a hug or a kiss.
That was a good catch. All those hands around. You kidding me?
That was a great catch. I don't know what was harder, the catch or trying to get away from the guy.
Oh, boy. I've never understood that the home run, when the guys get there and they start beating you on your head, and
you wouldn't have allowed that if you had a walk-off at any point?
I mean, you're taking the brunt of the beating, and you just done something good. End of the game. They punch you in the side, slap you up on the head. How's that feeling good? And let's face it, some of the guys that don't have any hits are going to be punching a little harder on you.
Two pitch coming to Utley. Outside, ball 3. Utley's had a 10-pitch at bat today that resulted in a ground out, and this is a long one too.
Yeah, he's starting to see that ball very good up at the plate. Now, his only problem at times is that just doesn't get set in time, and a lot of times he's got to rush his swing. And when you get set quick like that, you can see the ball. When you don't, when you come back, that same inside pitch, you're going to go at it because you're not really set, especially 3-2.
Ooh. Just popped right on back and just taking a little stroll.
Does not feel good at all when that ball hits right up on your leg area. Barry Maddox used to do that quite a bit. pitchers don't like you getting hurt, but they like seeing you jump up on that other foot when they've thrown a ball inside to you. Sinker ball guys.
Ball 4, Nutley's aboard. The ball gets away from Castillo. Nutley's been on base 3 times today. That was another 10-pitch at bat. And that'll bring Dominic Brown to the plate. Rondon has been warming up in the bullpen for the Cubs. It's another right-handed pitcher. He'll stay with Sanchez. There's Rondon. Brown had 2 RBIs his last time up. He now has 74 runs batted in.
Getting closer and closer to that magic number. 100 RBIs, and especially after the time that he's missed.
You think about it, though. I mean, it's so tough to project, but if you had a normal Ryan Howard season without injuries, and a Dominic Brown season the way it's shaping up right now, I mean, that is a formidable middle of the order.
Oh, there's no doubt. You know, and obviously they'd be.
That was a balk by Sanchez. Utley called it. Wally Bell realized it, and Utley gets second base.
Well, he's always in the game for sure. See exactly what there it is right there. Easy call to make as he's moving that glove, kind of moving forward just a bit.
Brown fouls it off his foot, and it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, if he's going to do that, he's got to get off the mound first.
That boy is right, because that's a tough pitch to hold off on.
Yeah. You know, anytime you see that pitcher there, or the catcher, I should say, where he starts to hit his glove on the ground, that's that indication for a breaking ball. A lot of times, too, with guys that aren't disciplined at the plate, they'll point up, which means they throw that high fastball.
Swing and a miss. He threw him a breaking ball, and Brown is struck out. Third strikeout for Sanchez. And with 2 outs, it'll bring Ruff to the plate. Coming up on Sports Night, final preparations as the Eagles get set for tomorrow's preseason opener against the Patriots. Plus, highlights and reaction from this game. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night tonight at 6 and 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Darren Ruff is part of that note right there because of his 2-run home run and his 2 runs scored. Waves at a slider, 0-1.
Tough pitch. It's tough because he's in that fastball mode and the ball breaks away. So right now, so far, that's how most of the pitchers are trying to get him out. If they throw a fastball, they want to be able to come way in, but Darren's been up to the task getting him out of that kitchen. It's a little more consistent with the breaking ball. It'll be really no stopping it.
Now he's behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boy, Sanchez really works slowly. You wonder if that disrupts the rhythm of the hitter a little bit. He's very deliberate out on the mound.
Yeah. What you can do, you can call timeout when, pitchers are doing that. You really don't want to be a statue up there. Very hard to get loaded, get your timing down if he's taking too long of a time to throw the ball.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ruff. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sanchez has allowed 1 of the 10 runs today. Jeff Samardzija in 3 1/3 allowed 11 hits and 9 runs as the starter for this afternoon's ball game. Toyota Major League Scoreboard, the Pirates and the Marlins are all even at 4. That game's in the top of the 8th. Christian Yelich is 3 for 3 for the Marlins. He has a home run, a couple RBIs. Pirates lead the Central by 3 over the Cardinals. They've won 4 straight. Now the 3-2 pitch to Ruff, way outside, ball 4, and he's been on base 3 times. Second walk of the inning by Sanchez. It'll bring Ashe up. Dale Swaim's going to do a double switch as he goes out to talk to Marty Foster. At least I think that's what he's doing. Yep. There's the signal to the pen. So Watkins will come in to play on the infield for the Cubs, and we'll have a new pitcher when we return. On first and second, and Hector Rondon will take over for the Cubs. This will be his 32nd game, his second game of this series. 2 wins, no losses, 28 strikeouts in 38 innings of work. And he's on to face Cody Ashe, who is 3 for 3 with a couple runs scored and a couple RBIs. Murph, what's going on, buddy?
Well, guys, we are asking the booth as we've been doing all day long. So this one's coming from El Sheetsy 26, asking what's the best ballpark food besides Citizens Bank Park?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought about this the other day. Somebody else had asked me this. I can't. Is it Milwaukee that I said had the best ball? Milwaukee's got some pretty good ballpark food. Milwaukee and San Francisco. Now we're talking about in the stands, right, Murph? We're not talking up in the press box.
Yeah, I don't think that's what they meant. No.
Yeah. I'm going to say Milwaukee.
I'm going to go with San Francisco.
Okay.
I'm going with St. Louis.
Oh, you know what? That's where we were when somebody asked it, because of the stir fry, right, Murph?
That's right.
That's a good choice. All right, you go with St. Louis, you go with San Francisco,
yep,
and I'll go with Milwaukee.
Okay.
Cody Ashe takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. St. Louis has a club level like the Phillies have here, the Hall of Fame club, and the Phillies have great food along the Hall of Fame club. Well, St. Louis, they have some of the more obscure delicacies on that Hall of Fame club level.
Well, they do, too. Nice little carving station.
As she fouls it down the left field line. It's a different carving station, different meat every night that you're there. They also have this crazy hot dog, which none of us would try. Murph, what is it, wrapped in bacon? It's got cheese and salad. I mean, it's just
too much.
It's too much.
Too much.
But people try it.
Yeah.
Sounds delightful.
Yeah, let's see you eat it. You who barely eats. 2-1 the count. Ashley has doubled and scored. He has singled. He's also homered. It was a 2-run shot. A good day. Ground ball softly hit. Castro charges, has to hurry the throw, and in time. A little delayed by Tim McClellan. 6-3 on the putout. Thought Ashley may have beaten it. Side is retired. 6 in the books. Couple cheesesteaks in the books as well. And we'll go to the 7th inning.
Game summary. You see the Phillies with a big offensive afternoon here. Cody Ashley with his first major league home run. Hopefully Ethan Martin in line for his first major league win with a 9-run lead at this point. Jeff Samardzija, a tough afternoon here on a hitter's day in this ballpark. Phillies have hit the ball all over the place. Nate Shearholz, the only run on the board, and John McDonald moves in. Chase Utley had a long at bat last time up, did beat a ball off his foot. Hopefully he's okay, and they're just going to rest him the rest of the day.
Chase has had 2 10-pitch at bats this afternoon. Zach Miner in his second inning of work for Ethan Martin. Logan Watkins will lead it off. His first at bat. He came in as part of a double switch. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Three balls and no strikes now to Watkins, a .333 hitter, just 2 for 6 so far. Low ball 4 and a leadoff walk for Watkins here in the 7th. These lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. David DeJesus has been on base twice today. Grounded out to first his first time up, and then a ball off the glove of Franzen at first, and then a walk his last time. And it's outside, 1-0.
Really want Zach Minor not to nibble, just throw the ball over the plate with something on it, get some outs, and win this ball game with a 9-run lead. Phillies can play off him at first base with a big lead, take the hole away. They were getting caught in between with Ethan Martin a little bit, it looked like in that 5th inning, because his pitch count was starting to get up, but obviously they want him to get through 5, because if he doesn't get through 5, he can't win the game. So he could tell they were going to they got Minor up just in case that inning went too long and they were going to have to take him out. But it's the last thing they wanted to do without 5 innings in.
Outside, and it's 2-1 to DeJesus.
Point is moot because they got through the 5 with him, and
he
had
made
a couple pop-ups.
Yeah, he made a couple good pitches to get those last 2 outs.
But it was getting a little dicey there, I think, as far as their thinking was going.
Liner to right field. Darren Ruff over toward the line, makes the catch, and there's one away.
He's showing the ability to go get that ball to his left, and he made a great point the other day. He said, well, let's see how I do when they go to my right. And he really hasn't been tested much in the gap in right center field. That'll come. You're out there long enough, they're going to hit him everywhere. But so far, the long runs he's had to make for balls are all to his left, like this. And he's done a very good job of getting a jump on it. They've been hit high, and he goes and runs them down. But that was interesting, I thought, for him to say that. Okay, I'm all right this way. How about the other way?
You got to give him a lot of credit, too. I mean, he's bounced around from first base to left field, now to right field in a year's time. And it just doesn't. He's genuine about it. He's honest about it. And he just doesn't seem affected by it.
No, he has good demeanor. Well, he's not a baby either. The guy's 27 years old. So he's been through a lot, and he appreciates, I think, and Charlie talked about that too, that that he's had some experience in the minor leagues, has Ruff, but not in these positions necessarily. But it's not like you're bringing a baby up here and asking him to do a lot of things.
Ball got a piece of junior leg, so that means 2 on with 1 out. There the first, and we'll bring Rizzo to the plate. Tim McClellan is going to run over from first base, and I believe he's going to exit for a moment. Murph, you got some news, bud?
Well, we do, and it's official, guys. We can actually say that now, that the Phillies and Chase Utley have agreed to that contract extension that was reported, I guess, yesterday by a number of different guys, including Jim Salisbury of CSNPhilly.com. 2 years is the deal, the contract. It also includes 3 vesting and club options as well. Ruben Amaro saying that Chase epitomizes everything we expect our Phillies to be, and that's part of the reason they've done that. He said he wanted him to be a Philly for life, and 2 more years in a Philadelphia uniform for sure for Chase Utley, guys.
All right, Murph, that's great news. If anybody belongs in those red pinstripes, as we said yesterday, it's him. There's a squibber out towards short. That could be 2. Quick release. McDonald doesn't have a chance because Lake was right on top of him. And there are 2 outs. By the way, the reason Tim McClellan went over to the grounds crew is he wants the lights put on.
There's dark cloud overhead right now. It's gotten a little bit dark. And you see the clouds. Yeah, great news about Chase Utley. We talked about that the other day, that You know, selfishly, there's McCollum, the veteran. Selfishly, we all want to see him play. You know, whether that was a decision they were going to come to or on both sides, it's not the area to deal in. But selfishly, to watch him play baseball,
absolutely
great to know he's going to be here.
Here's here's Nate Scherholtz after Rizzo grounds out to the fielder's choice, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
And McClellan's been getting a lot of publicity the last month or so. George Brett Pinetar stuff. The anniversary came up today's the anniversary of the first night game at Wrigley Field. The Phillies were in it, but it didn't count.
Little showers in the area.
25 years ago today. Oof. Tonight, yeah, a little showers. Oh, boy, were they nasty thunderstorms that night. It washed it out in like the 4th inning. You see those clouds overhead now,
and the lights popping on.
Then the Mets played the next night, and that's the official first night game at Wrigley.
Miners high, and it's 2-1.
It was on August 8th, 1988. Starting to spritz a little bit right now.
Yeah, there's showers all around the area, so Phillies have dodged them for most of the day.
And they want to play through it.
2-2 pitch to Scherholtz. Ground ball. Ooh, look out. Runner goes from first, and a good changeup. Scherholtz is down on strikes. Side is retired. A couple of base runners in the inning for the Cubs. 2 men left on base. Time to stretch here at Philadelphia. The Phillies up by 9. All right, Wheels, here's the question one more time. What Cub was the National League home run champion with 40 in 1990?
Is that Cub here today?
He is here today. Yeah, I did see him.
Did he just go running out in the field?
I didn't see him running out to the field. No, I don't know.
Like maybe towards the third base coach's box?
He might have. Yeah.
Ryan Sandberg.
Ryan Sandberg is correct. What a career he had.
If you said no, I was going to say Dawson. Because Dawson was around at that time too and had some big years leading the league in homers.
Ryan certainly had some great years.
40 homers that year.
Rondon begins the 7th against John Mayberry. Mayberry has an RBI single today.
One of the greatest high fastball hitters ever, Ryan Sandberg. A little bit of a harder shower right now.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And here comes the tarp. Tim McClellan's going to bring it on because I guess they had anticipated if it was going to start that it might come down hard. I think some of the folks, because it's been so warm today, find it rather refreshing. Not all, but some. So the grounds crew will get the tarp on the field. The Phillies are on top 10-1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 10 runs on 12 hits for the Phillies in this afternoon's ball game, the final game of this 3-game series and of this homestand, which has not gone as well as the Phillies would have liked. Today certainly has. And they'll cover this baby up, and hopefully this shower will just be a very short one. It will slide on through.
Yeah, what they're doing right now is just not going to take any chances that it would have rained really, really hard in a short amount of time, and then it would take an hour to get the field ready again. This way they get it covered. When this is over, the field won't need a whole lot of work, hopefully, and then it gets resumed quickly.
Well, as always, a good job by the Phillies grounds crew to get things covered up rather quickly.
Oh, somebody's underneath the
I think
tarp.
somebody is underneath. I didn't say what they were getting covered up quickly.
Somebody's under that tarp, and hopefully they'll get under there and get them out.
You can see a little bubble right there. See it moving.
There's somebody here.
Yep. They're coming on out. And
it's like a magic trick.
Well, so they're having trouble getting through that one spot right there. That's a difficult spot to be.
There we go. Oh, it's Danny DeMuzio.
Danny DeMuzio.
That figures.
He's been in that spot before, we would think.
I don't know that he's ever been under a tarp before like that. There was Danny right there. Now, here we go.
Danny's right on the mound, right on the edge of the mound.
There he is, right there.
Doing his job.
And now watch what happens. This is the great disappearing act. Because
and boom.
It's tough to make Danny disappear.
Well, let's hope Danny's okay.
He'll be all right.
He's been here for a long time. He's a tough guy. And there he is.
The DeMuzio family.
They're tough by nature.
Unflappable.
All right, Danny, dust yourself off, buddy. So we're at a rain delay here at Citizens Bank Park because it's coming down pretty hard at this point. Phillies are on top 10-1. Nobody out. John Mayberry is up at the plate with the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. And the Phillies, as we said, have banged out 12 hits today. 3 by Cody Ashley, a double, a single, and a home run. A couple by Darren Ruff, who has a 2-run home run and a single. He scored a couple runs. Chase Utley, a couple doubles, 2 runs scored, and a brand new contract to go along with an RBI. So 10-1 the final score, or 10-1 the score, I should say, here in the bottom of the 7th inning. We're in a rain delay while we sit here and wait. We will join Phillies Nation, and we'll give you an update as soon as we have one as far as the resumption of this ball game. Phillies uniform for what will most likely be the remainder of his career.
Too many people play for one team for their whole career, especially now. And that would be great if that's what happens.
That press conference will be covered approximately 30 minutes after the game on Comcast Sportsnet, so you can stay with us for that.
I think Mike Schmidt was able to do that for the Phils, to be able to play in this uniform for his entire career.
It just isn't done that often anymore. And the Phillies conceivably could have Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley both play their entire careers in a Phillies uniform.
And join a guy like Mike.
Two balls, two strikes to John Mayberry after a 22-minute rain delay. Mayberry has the count even, 2-2. He's 1 for 3. Singled and drove in a run in the second. Struck out looking in the third. Fly to center his last time up. And he fouls it back. Had that question before about, a player you would name, let's say, this stadium after, if you can name it after a player. And there might be a generation who thinks that Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins could be one of those players when they're all done. There's a generation that no doubt thinks that Whitey and his name should be on the stadium. I said HK, even though he's not a player, because what a figure he was and still is here in Philadelphia.
And they've done a great job honoring both those guys with the statues in Ashburn Alley out there.
Would you have put your boyhood idol on the stadium?
Well, he would have said, how can you even hesitate? Do you realize that if I were the manager of this team over the years, you wouldn't have enough fingers for World Series rings? That was one of his many lines.
That's great.
So sure, why not?
One out. Michael Martinez is the batter. Martinez 2 for 3 today. He has singled twice. He's driven in a run. He has scored a run. Batting in the 8th hole. Finally has his average up over 200. It's a very limited amount of at-bats, just 3 for 14. Eric Kratz has come out in the on-deck circle with the pitcher's spot due up next.
A good game, and that's who's up out there to get Cesar Menez into a game.
Up high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Over toward third, Donnie Murphy, who was shaded toward the hole, throws out Martinez, who was moving the whole time. And there are 2 outs. Let's check in with Murph. Murph, how was your rain delay?
My rain delay was uneventful, Tom, which is, I guess, a good thing. But I want to ask the booth this question. I asked the booth presented by Toyota. It's from Lucas Brian Harris. He says, well, what does the future hold for Cesar Hernandez and Freddie Galvis after Utley's contract extension? It's a good question.
It is a good question. I mean, Cesar's been playing some center field, so I still think that he has a chance to do that, play the outfield and be a utility guy. I think both those guys have a chance to be utility and good utility players on the major league level. Now, does it have to be with the Phillies? No, but I do think there's a role for both of them in some capacity or another as the years move on.
Yeah, and they will face, of course, the out of options question when that arises, and then they have to make a decision that they have to be with your ball club. And I think the Cesar Hernandez thing, they're trying to deal with something to maybe get him another one for next year, because if not, you have to make the immediate decision on him. Galvis, I think you still have some time to play with that. So both those guys, especially Freddie Galvis, has shown he can be a utility player in the major leagues. Hernandez, we'll see.
I want to thank everybody for their questions here this afternoon. I know there were a lot of them that we did not get to, and we do apologize for that, but we will do Ask the Booth again as the season moves on, presented by Toyota. 2 balls, 1 strike to Eric Kratz. the end of the bat, 2-2. We'll save the other questions, like what Halloween costume we might be wearing, until later on as we get closer to the end of September, closer to the Halloween holiday. Give people some ideas.
Or ignore that one.
What are you talking about? There had to be a time where you dressed up for Halloween.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I was in Newtown Square and I was about 7 years old.
Well, there you go. So you have some perspective on it.
Oh, yeah, it was fun because you couldn't wait to get the candy. Every kid does that, don't they?
Were you Batman?
Hi, Tom, you know what?
You were the Lone Ranger.
I have no idea. That's funny because I just wanted to give you an answer on that, and I don't know.
Ground ball foul, and it remains full, 3-2. Maybe you dressed up as the Fanatic one year.
No, not in those days.
Maybe as you got older.
That was that would have been a wild dream back then that baseball would have mascots.
Well, they had Max Patkin.
True. We didn't know who Maxie was either.
There's the payoff pitch to Eric Kratz. Up high, ball 4, so he draws a 2-out walk. And back to the top of the order for Kevin Franz. Murph, one of our other questions, by the way, was how many notebooks you go through. I think we've had that question before, but how many notebooks you go through during the course of a season?
Oh, it's dozens of notebooks, Major League notebooks, left and right, that we go through.
Is that because you lose some of them, or
Probably.
You give them out? You've given out a couple.
We have given out a couple. I have lost a couple.
Murph, do you have the rights copyrighted on that?
We're working. It's pending.
You should.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be an income source at some time.
I'm gonna look into that.
Kevin Franzen has scored a run today. He's 0 for 4.
Moms and dads are out doing all the shopping right now for kids for school. You mentioned that.
And there have been several who have asked the booth that have asked us to stop reminding them that school is right around the corner. They must be young.
Yeah.
Because some of the older ones will probably okay that it's school's right around the corner.
Well, when they go out, they could buy Murph's notebook.
They can do that.
Sure.
You can get Murph's notebook at W.B. Mason if you want to.
But he needs a copyright. I think other parts of the country, kids are probably back to school already.
Yeah. That is true.
They just get out earlier.
Check swing and a breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Kratz not being held on over at first, of course, with the Phillies up 10-1. He is no threat to take off as the ball's put in play.
Well, that rain didn't cool anything off. It is steamy.
There's still some more showers in the area that may come across a little later on. Up high. Rondon okay?
Saw that chicken costume today. Maybe that kid's thinking about that'd make a great mascot for a team, and the father would say, well, the idea's been used up.
Yeah, that young lady is has to be a little warm, but she's still maybe hoping for the dugout dance.
One of the great mascots, and the original one, the San Diego Chicken.
Chicken used to be the Padres mascot, but then went out on its own.
Yep. That's when it became the San Diego Chicken.
Out of play, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Team's going along so well, we're just dragging all kinds of things out. Back to the San Diego Chicken. Boy, that does have to be hot.
It has to be.
Especially down there. That's sun. There are people down there using the Chase Utley poster right now as a sun shield.
Upstairs, 3-2. Kratz will be moving on this pitch with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
How long was that delay? I forgot to write it down.
22 minutes.
Right, so.
Yeah. Kratz takes off, and that'll be out of play off to the right. Phillies will head to Washington after this ball game. They'll bust down to D.C. And tomorrow night, John Lannon will be opposed by Dan Herron. Saturday night, it's Cliff Lee against Taylor Jordan. And then Sunday, it's a 5:05 start. That was changed a couple weeks ago. It'll be Kyle Kendrick and Steven Strasburg. Kratz goes again. And fly ball shallow right field. Sherholtz, sunglasses on, is under it and makes the catch. And that'll do it for the home 7th inning. No runs, no hits. And one man left for the Phillies. We go to the 8th inning. The Phillies in control of this one against the Cubs. They lead it by 9. Clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. A 22-minute rain delay, and we resumed with no real action. Now we go to the top of the 8th inning, and Cesar Jimenez will make his Phillies debut. Jimenez at Lehigh Valley 4-2 with an ERA of 3.12. He is not new to the big leagues. He has 43 games in his major league career, all with the Seattle Mariners. And he was added to the roster when Antonio Bastardo was suspended for the remainder of the season for his role in the biogenesis investigation. So Jimenez, who was pitching well for the Iron Pigs. And Donnie Murphy will lead it off. And the first pitch is over for a strike. It's 0-1. Murphy's 0 for 3, so now 4 for 10 in the series. And it's in the dirt, 1-1. Ethan Martin started the game. He went the first 5. Zach Minor then pitched the next 2. And now it's Jimenez. And it's low. 2-1. Cesar Jimenez is 28 years old. He's out of Venezuela. Originally signed as a free agent by the Mariners in 2001. Made his major league debut. He was 16 when they signed him. Made his major league debut in 2006. That one's pulled toward the alley in left center field, and Murphy's going to have another hit, his first of the day, and it'll be a leadoff double here in the 8th. So the Cubs have a base runner to start the top of the 8th inning. Back in 2008, At the age of 23, Jimenez appeared in 31 games for the Mariners. He made 2 starts. He was 0-2 with an earned run average of 3.41.
So far, he's thrown fastball at 89 and a changeup.
That'll bring Wellington Castillo to the plate. Phillies signed Jimenez to a free agent contract, a minor league free agent contract, this past offseason. Michael Bowden in the bullpen for the Cubs. Swing and a miss, 0-2. 332 games in the minor leagues for Jimenez. Mostly as a reliever. He did make 58 starts.
That's hanging in there.
Including 3 this year with the Iron Pigs. He's been at AAA since 2005. That's when he first made it to AAA. And the 0-2 pitch. Hit sharply to shortstop. Michael Martinez is there. Castillo's retired. And that's the first out here in the 8th inning. Monday, August 19th and Monday, September 2nd are the next 2 Dollar Dog Nights here at Citizens Bank Park. Monday, the 19th of August, is against the Rockies. The 2nd of September against the Washington Nationals. You can purchase tickets by going to Phillies.com. Here is Starlin Castro 0-for-2. Phillies have held him in check in this series, 2 for 11. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. At the knees, and it's 2-1. Castro just 23 years old. First came up to the big leagues in May of 2010. Came up from Double-A. Already a 2-time All-Star.
200 hits his first year in the major leagues.
First full year, yeah. Like they always worried about, his attention span when he's out on the field. But even with all the struggles they've had this year, they've kind of held that in check.
Yeah, they said he used to have defensive lapses in the infield because of that fact.
Hit a 3-run home run during his major league debut. He lines that one to center field. That'll be a base hit. They'll hold Murphy at third because Mayberry got to that quickly. It'll be first and third with 1 out. Every time the Phillies retire the opposition 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. Here's Cole Gillespie, who will pinch hit for the pitcher. So Bowden will come in to pitch the bottom of the 8th inning.
Gillespie's the guy who made that great throw last night in right field that precipitated that collision at home plate.
Inside and low, 1-0. You mentioned how Castro led the National League in hits in his first full year. He's the youngest player to do that. And he's had his jersey put in Cooperstown twice. Once after his Major League debut when he hit the 3-run home run against Homer Bailey. And then at the end of the season, after he led the National League in hits, his jersey again went up to Cooperstown. And it's a pretty neat feat for somebody, the age of Castro. He's 23 years old.
Yeah, that young and that much experience to have two things at Cooperstown already.
1 ball and 1 strike to Gillespie. And low and in, 2-1. Toyota Major League scoreboard. Well, Russell Martin did not start today's ball game for the Pittsburgh Pirates, but he certainly helped win it as the Pirates defeated the Marlins 5-4. Pittsburgh is now 70-44. They have the best record in baseball.
Wow. Well, they're playing great at home too. Watching that game up there, and they had a tremendous crowd there this afternoon in Pittsburgh. They're drawing great. And they'll finish over 500 this year.
11 more wins, Wills. They need 11 more wins.
They got it. They're thinking a lot bigger than that.
They are 41-20 at PNC Park. Swing and a miss. Gillespie is down on strikes. And there are 2 outs.
Come to chase a changeup. He was one of the walks in that big 9th inning last night that really hurt the Phillies.
And now Logan Watkins, who walked his last time up, his only time up. Came out as part of a double switch. Over to first, and Kevin Franzen will just take it onto the bag. Side is retired. Couple base runners for the Cubs, and we have played 7.5. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. One last offensive opportunity for the Phillies. They're up by 9. January 22nd to the 26th in Clearwater, Florida in 2014. It's Phillies Fantasy Camp. Package includes hotel accommodations, practice with, and instruction from guys like Greg Luzinski, John Kruk, Mike Lieberthal, Jim Eisenreich, and of course the commish, Larry Anderson. You get a fantasy game versus the legends at Bright House Field, a Phillies uniform with your very own number, the one you choose, and so much more. Call now for information, 610-520-3400. Bottom of the 8th inning, Michael Bowden will take over for the Cubs. 24th game, he's 1-2. with a 3.95 earned run average. Second time Bowden's pitched in this ball game. Well, Jimenez was able to get out of that jam and has returned to the big leagues. Carlos Ruiz is 1 for 4. Had an RBI and a bunt back of the 4th. He scored a run too. And the first pitch from Bowden taken low, 1-0. John McDonald is due up next. He's in Chase Utley's spot in the lineup. Mets have already won today, 2-1. The Braves do not play today. Atlanta off after winning their 13th consecutive game last night. In the dirt, 2-2. You see that the Indians designated Mark Reynolds for assignment. He's really been struggling, but it's still surprising that they wouldn't keep him on the bench.
Yeah, he's that kind of player. He's all or nothing at all. When we saw him earlier in the year, he was really contributing to that. He's making more contact. Had him at first base, so at third he really struggles over there.
The ball is lined to left field, a base hit. And Carlos has his second hit. Oh, with the runner at first and nobody out, let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by Gwinnett Mercy College. And the New York Mets are getting a piece of their rotation back. Jonathan Neese will be back on the mound this weekend. The Mets' opening day starter has been on the DL since June the 21st with a partially torn rotator cuff, but rejoining that rotation this weekend. And, guys, this was before the game. Busy day for Chase Utley as he was presented with the Heart and Hustle Award. And that is given out by Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association. You see Greg Lazinski handing out that award for guys with passion, desire, and work ethic on and off the field. It is the 4th time that Chase Utley has been honored with the Phillies representation of that. All 30 Major League teams get a representative of that award, and then the final is announced in November. So congratulations to Chase Utley on that, guys.
Well, he's had a busy day, as Murph said. The award, the pride of the Phillies print.
Not over yet.
Not over yet.
He still has to meet with the media. It's one of his favorite parts of the day.
Might be the toughest part of the day.
Yeah, he really enjoys that. Loves talking about himself. He's always been that kind of guy.
Well, if you want to find out more about that award that Chase received and when the dinner is, you can go to the Major League Baseball Players Alumni Association website.
Passion. I'm sorry, Tom. Passion, desire, and work ethic. I don't know that you can find a better player to represent that.
Amen. Amen for that.
So true.
That dinner, by the way, is November 19th in New York City.
And an outstanding job of presentation there by Greg Lazinski.
John McDonald hits one deep to left field, and it is gone. A 2-run home run for John McDonald. And that makes it a 12-1 ball game.
Well, that's a hitting spot in the lineup. He's in Chase's spot.
Oh, for John McDonald, it's his first home run this year. He had 6 home runs last year, but it's just his 28th career home run. He's not going to go yard all that often.
No, but he go back and Chase Utley's spot, play his position. Why not? Hit a ball out of the ballpark. And he gets it right out there into the flowers. And look at that. Oh, here's a good shot. Watch it go right into that. And it stayed in there, which really helped the umpires.
Well, now Dominic Brown pops the pitch up off the first base line. Rizzo didn't see it, and it goes into the first or second row.
That's kind of the kind of ball out there we just saw with a tremendous angle that hits that back railing and comes flying right back out onto the field. And then there can be confusion. That one looked like a putt that went in the cup and just hit a little and dropped straight down.
12 runs now on 14 hits for the Phillies. Dominic Brown has one of them with a 2-run single earlier in the game. Out in front, 0-2. Broke his back. Ground ball to second. Watkins is up with it. And Brown's retired. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. John McDonald's been around for a long time. 38 years old. He's known primarily for his defense, and he is a very good defensive player. But with all that said, home run number 28 in his career is pretty satisfying, I would think, for him.
Sure. I enjoy that little trip around the base. It's the first one he's ever, or been a long time since he's hit one in Charlie's presence. Charlie Manuel's a big fan of his, especially for his defense.
Darren Ruff has been on base 3 times. And he lines that one to right field. Sherrills is there for the second out. Darren's had some really good swings, even with the outs he's had over the last several days. Time now for our Hyundai defensive plays of the game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. Wheels, how about these fans' catches?
Great catches out there today. That young lady makes one, and that's a terrific play. Chase Utley poster in one hand and a one-handed grab and a smooch.
A little affirmation.
Yeah.
Cody Ashley's 3 for 4, and that one is hit towards shallow left center field. DeJesus comes in, sunglasses on, makes the catch. Sign is retired. But the Phillies tack on 2 more, and a home run by John McDonald, his first in a Phillies uniform, and he whacked it right down the left field line and into the flower bed to give the Phils a 12-1 lead as we go to the 9th inning. Series 2 against the Chicago Cubs. It's been a little while since the Phillies last won a series overall. And they'll turn this 9th inning over to Raul Valdez, who's 1-1, an earned run average of 7.84. Phillies can close this one out. It would move Charlie Manuel to 999 career victories. Only 58 managers in Major League history have won 1,000 or more. There are 7 active managers, so if the Phillies can win here today and move Charlie to 999, then maybe at some point this weekend he can join one of those 7 active managers, which includes Davey Johnson of the Washington Nationals.
He'd be the first to tell you expected to get there a little sooner.
Probably did, yeah.
But 1,000, that's very impressive.
Charlie is 778 and 631 as the Phillies manager. David DeJesus leads it off against Raul Valdez. And the first pitch misses. It's 1-0. Over for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mentioned earlier, the Phillies have have acquired Casper Wells, and he will be with the Phillies this weekend. He will wear number 22 for the Phillies, and they will make a corresponding move with his pending arrival. One ball, 2 strikes to DeJesus. Out toward left field, Dominic Brown, and he makes the catch. Went away. Kind of like the way he made that play the other night that he wound up dropping, but he was able to put this one away. Immediately after the game, stay tuned for Ricky Metallico, who will break down Ethan Martin's first 5 innings this afternoon and this game against the Cubs. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies postgame live. And a reminder, half an hour after this ball game, we will have the Comcast Sports Net will have the Chase Utley press conference from Citizens Bank Park. Chase will be joined by Ruben Amaro, Phillies general manager. There's Junior Lake, been on base twice. First time was with a strikeout from Ethan Martin, and he eventually reached on a wild pitch. Reminder, as we mentioned before, John Lannon against Dan Herron tomorrow night. We'll be on PHL 17. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. Had a play, and it remains 2-2. Inside and low, 3-2. Not only is this game in line for Charlie Manuel's 999th victory, but it's also would be Ethan Martin's first major league win.
Cody Ashe's first major league home run today, too.
2 outs. So now 1 out away from getting Ethan Martin that victory. There's some first here this afternoon.
Ironically, Chase Utley got his first major league home run on a day game over at Veterans Stadium. It was a grand slam home run off Cook.
Here's Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo doubled back in the 5th.
One of those business person specials. And Chase got his first home run. Aaron Cook of the Rockies.
Fly ball out towards shallow left field. Coming in is Dominic Brown, and he slides and he makes the catch. And the ball game is over. Ethan Martin picks up his first major league win as the Phils finally win a series. They take 2 of 3 from the Cubs as they win this afternoon 12-1 over Chicago. A pretty exciting way to wrap up the final game of this series. Dominic Brown coming sweeping in to pull that one off the top of the grass. And it's a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning for the Phillies. Chevy player of the game is Cody Ashe. A double, a single, a home run, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Ethan Martin gets his first major league win, and Ashe gets his first major league home run. Pretty sweet. The Phillies scored 12 runs today. It's the 3rd time this year, only the 3rd time this year, that they've scored 10 runs or more in a game.
WB Mason deliveries of the game. Cody Ashe, 3/4 of the way to a cycle here today. First time up. Hits that ball over the head of Lake in left field, scored a double. And then the 3rd inning, he's going to get himself a base hit to right field. But here comes a big one. This was in the 4th inning with a man on base and deep to right center field. His first major league home run. He goes double, single, 2-run home run. Big game this afternoon for Cody Ashe. Those are our WB Mason deliveries of the game, and appropriately enough on the afternoon where he hits that first major league home run, he's down there with Murph. Murph.
All right, thanks a lot, Wheels. Yeah, checking off the accomplishments, I guess, the milestones here in your big league career. The first major league home run. You and I talked earlier in the week about the first major league hit. Maybe that wasn't exactly how you pictured it. Was it how you pictured it, the first major league home run?
Oh, yeah. It felt good. Rounding the bases. It's good to get the first one out of the way, but hopefully there's more to come.
Much more importantly, I guess, is that over the past couple of days, you've really started to swing the bat well. Is it a comfort level as you get accustomed to being up here at this big league level?
Yeah, I think it's just being able to control the emotions a little bit more. You kind of get into a little groove there where you can kind of tone yourself down a little bit, not worry about trying to do a little bit too much. So I think the biggest thing is just being able to control my emotions at the plate and in the field.
Also good to see, offensively, 12 runs put up on the board. We talk so many times about hitting being contagious. Is there something to that when guys are hitting?
Yeah, I think so, for sure. When you got guys up and down the lineup putting together good at-bats, it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher. He's thinking he's got to make a pitch every time. So, when you get 9 guys together with a plan and executing, it makes for a good day for the offense. A
couple firsts for you, but also a first for your former teammate down at the Lehigh Valley, Ethan Martin. He gets his first major league win. How good was it to see him battle through today? Yeah, I'm really proud of him. That's the kind of pitcher he is. He just battles. He's a good competitor. He's going to throw strikes for you. He's going to keep you in games. And I'm really happy for him. All right, Cody, we'll see you in D.C. Guys, back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Nice job by Cody Ashe, picking up his first major league home run. Phillies bang out 14 base hits, and they win it 12-1 over the Cubs.